Welcome to Davis Field, Fayette, Missouri. This is Charlie Brown along with Jim Ray Cluck. We've got football action for you today as the Eagles at home take on the Pioneers of Mid-America Nazarene. Eagles come in with an overall record of 4-4 on the season. Mid-America comes in with a record of 2-4 on the season. And it's a big ball game. It would be a winning season for the Eagles if they can manage to pull out a victory here as we get ready to have Senior Day for the Senior Eagles, and that will be going on in just a second. As soon as they start doing that, we're going to cut over and go to the PA system, PA announcer, so that he can list them out, and he gets ready to do that now. When the seniors have been recognized, we'll be back with a pregame show, so we'll be back in just a few minutes.
He is escorted today by his mother, Robin, and father, Tim. After graduation, Josh plans to move back home and work as a conservation officer for the Florida Fish and Wildlife Department. His favorite memory is all of the long bus rides and early mornings getting to bond with his brothers on the field. Josh, thank you. Our second senior is Donald Clark, Jr. Donald is a criminal justice major from Miami, Florida. He is escorted today by his mother, Barbara, and father, Donald Clark, Sr. After graduation, Donald plans to become a juvenile counselor and work with troubled youth. Thank you, Donald. Our next senior is Keaton Edwards. Keaton is a sports management major from Ashland, Ohio. He is escorted today by Gary and Chris Edwards. After graduation, Keaton plans on joining the coaching ranks as a graduate assistant football coach for a college or university. His favorite memory was recording an interception against Graceland as a sophomore to help seal the victory for the Eagles. Thank you, Keaton. Up next, Cory Luke. Cory is an education major from Stanberry, Missouri. Escorting Cory on the field are parents Randy and Sharon Luke. After graduation, Keaton plans to start his career as a teacher and a high school basketball coach. His favorite memory as an Eagle was beating number 9 Evangel last season at home. Cory, thank you. Our next senior, Hunter Murrell. Hunter is a physical education major from Wentzville, Missouri. He is escorted today by his mother, Shauna, father, Mike, and grandma, Pam. Hunter has been a 4-year member of the Eagles football team, and his favorite memory was beating Evangel his junior year in 2019. Hunter Murrell. Our next senior is John Tyler Polk. John is a physical education major from Boonville, Missouri. He is escorted today by his mother, Kim, and father, Jason. After graduation, John plans to begin his coaching career in football. His favorite memory was meeting his girlfriend, Caitlin, and getting to hang out with his teammates. John Tyler Polk. Up next, Colton Skyles. Colton is a physical education major from Ava, Missouri. He is escorted today by his mother, Missy, brother Spencer, Uncle Todd, and Grandpa Danny. After graduation, Colton plans to further his education and get a master's degree in physical education. His favorite memory is being a part of the first class in CMU history to have a winning record against rival Missouri Valley College. Colton Skyles. And our final senior today, Bryce Walker. Bryce is a physical education major from Dickinson, Texas. He is escorted today by his parents Scott and Christy Walker. Upon graduation, Bryce plans to become a grad assistant and coach college football. His favorite memory was beating number 9 Evangel 42-7 at home during his junior year. Bryce Walker. Ladies and gentlemen, let's give another round of applause for our 2020 Central Methodist football senior class. Thank you.
All right, so there you have the senior class, the seniors on the football team at Central Methodist University being recognized before the game. Jim Ray Cluck now joins me. Jim Ray, this is always an emotional day for a lot of people.
Yeah, it's a chance. What amounts to these seniors, this is it. This is you're done. I mean, it's over. This is the last time you're going to be at this ball game. Probably the next time you come in, you have to pay to get in. relating back to a song that I heard. So they should treasure this, and they want to go out as winners. And they're going to go out maybe winners in this game, but also winners for the season, which hasn't been done in a long time here at CMU, having a winning record.
Yeah, they're 4-4. If they can get a win today, they finish the year 5-4. And one of the games that was called off early was a very winnable ball game for them against Clark. And the other ball game that was canceled out on them was also a game that could have been winnable for them. So they could end up 5-4 on the season, and actually could have been 6-5 or 7-4 on the year.
Yeah, Charlie, I really think that they could have been, because I really thought they should have probably beat Peru. They had the COVID hit that week, and they had 5 starters out on offense and 5 on defense. That was an away game, and that was a winnable game too. So they really look at this. They could have been 8-3. They kind of, what they've done is they went from when Coach Callaway took this program over, he's gone from the cellar up to, they haven't reached the top rung of the ladder yet, but they're up there near the top, and they're playing, they're competitive against everybody they play. So kudos to Coach Callaway and his staff and these players, because they have turned they've turned the things around.
They've turned the corner.
Yes,
they've it's been an uphill battle for years to get to a point where you could say winning record for Central Methodist.
Yeah, they've been at the bottom and predicted every year to be at the bottom, and this year they weren't predicted there, and they moved up, and they were within an eyelash of being competitive enough to almost go to playoffs. So it's kind of where they're at, and they'll have another turn. Coach Callaway here again next year, and I believe he'll turn that corner again, and not turn the corner, but excel up there near the top rung.
Well, we're going to get a little glimpse today of what next season might look like, because the prized recruit is going to be on the field today, Paxton Delarant. They have saved him and saved him and saved him, and trying to work through so they can keep his redshirt year. He is allowed to play so many ball games, so many snaps or whatever. He is possibly going to be the starter in this ball game. He was introduced as the starting quarterback for the ball game. So he is a true freshman out of Camdenton, and he is the future quarterback of this program, and they're going to put him out on the field and let him play a little bit today.
Yeah, they've done it here a little bit before this game, and I believe he started one of the games on the road.
He started last week, I believe.
Yeah, but they have not had that luxury. For the last 4 years, Coach Callaway has brought in a transfer to be the quarterback, because he just didn't have quite the confidence in the people that he had here to do this. And now he brings this freshman in. This kid's 6'5", yeah, he's 225 pounds.
He is a prototype quarterback in a big system.
Yeah, he can sling that rock. And he did real well down at Camdenton. Of course, Camdenton's got a football tradition between the shores and the other shore. They've done quite well over the years, and he's been a part of this, and he knows how to win. And that makes a difference, Charlie. It makes a lot of difference when you know how to win.
Yeah, I agree with that wholeheartedly, and he's got a chance to kind of build his own future and put a stamp on what this program is going to look like. I look at his stats from he's played a backup role once or twice, and he played last week. He's 30 of 56 on the year. That's 53.6%. That's all right. 283 yards of passing. That's okay. He's thrown for 3 touchdowns. He's thrown a couple of interceptions, and he's going to have to get used to the speed of a college game. So he's getting his feet wet right now. We have the band out on the field, and we're going to see if they're going to get ready to play the national anthem or what they're going to do. We'll get to them in just a second as they get ready to play. They haven't asked the people to stand yet, so maybe it's going to be fight song, or they're just going to march on. We'll let you listen for a second.
welcome again to Davis Field. At this time, we ask that you please rise and remove your hats for a prayer, followed by the playing of our national anthem by the Central Methodist University Band. Almighty God, you have created us to strive for our best. Grant to all athletes, coaches, and fans the strength to pursue excellence during this event. We pray for the safety of these athletes, protect them from injury and harm. Help us to honor you today in all we do, on and off the field, and make us witnesses to your glory. In Christ's name we pray. Amen.
So the national anthem played, and we're ready for action as we're waiting the Eagles to come out onto the field on Senior Day, last home game of the 2020 season. It is cool, cloudy, a little moist as it's been spitting rain a little bit. CMU band under the direction of Mr. Skip Vandelicht and Mr. Steve Litweiler. Between the two of them, probably 70 years of band experience, high school, college level. Central very fortunate to have those two gentlemen working their program. So that's all done, and being here about 3 or 4 years ago, Jim Ray, there was about 10 people in the band, and that was about all there was. And Skip came in and has kind of rejuvenated the band program a little bit, and I'm sure that President Drake is happy with that, to see the numbers up in the band department as well as every other. And I believe did I not see that this year is another record year for Central with enrollment?
That is correct. The second largest enrollment in school history. Underneath a COVID situation, a pandemic, we had the second largest, the largest freshman enrollment, largest new student enrollment, largest housing on campus in school history. Great job to the admissions team, which I happen to be part of as a part-timer, but to Dr. Joe Parisi and the rest of the admissions team, and also the entire campus. This recruiting is not done just by the admissions. It's done by the entire campus, alumni, administration, the whole works. Also, Brad Dixon getting students in the resident halls and filling them up, and that's a great boost to the CMU community.
It's a great testament to the people that work here and the institution itself that it has managed to prosper and thrive in a situation that we've had since March of earlier this year, to still be at it and to continue to grow and do. For those of you that, I hope we have it on the screen right now that you can see Paxton Delaron standing at the midfield line waiting to go out for the coin toss. He is a big young man.
I happened to help recruit this kid and down in Camden. I kept calling him. He was going to walk on at Missouri State University. Anyway, he actually went down there at semester. Just didn't like the situation. Was taking part-time classes, so he had a chance to get a bigger scholarship from Culver Stockton. He wanted to come here and be part of this spread offense. He liked Coach Callaway and the coaching staff. He ended up here, and this young man, when he actually came in on a non-varsity scholarship starting out, he has a varsity scholarship for next year, but he's the real deal, I think.
Well, if he is going to go out and do the coin toss as a captain as a freshman, that's a pretty big statement.
Absolutely, try. This kid's smart too. I mean, I can't tell his ACT over here, but he plenty smart too. On top of it all,
well, he's walking out to do the coin toss, so his teammates have a lot of confidence in him. The staff has a lot of confidence in him, and I'm sure he has a lot of confidence in himself. I remember a couple weeks ago when he came in and ran the last series, and offensive line did not do a whole lot to help him out in a blowout ball game. The defense was just putting their ears back and going after him, and he still found a way to complete a 10-yard pass after being sacked. It wasn't enough for a first down, but it did show a lot of arm strength.
Yeah, I mean, you just see how the players are walking through there. He's high-fiving them and all that jazz. And again, that just doesn't happen here as a freshman. It's kind of unheard of, to tell you the truth.
I would say you are absolutely correct. They are out at midfield. That is De Laurent. And I can't tell yet the captain's number for Mid-America, but we will get that for you very shortly. And there is the toss of the coin in the air. Mid-America wins the toss. See if they defer. They will defer till the second half. And that is number 1, Kobe Hardin, and he is their leading receiver. 36 catches, 634 yards, averaging over 17 yards a catch, 7 touchdowns. And you say, that's pretty good. Then you can go over to the central side and look at Katavius Taylor. He's got 40 receptions, 569 yards, 14 yards per average, and 8 touchdowns. And he is a 2-time All-American.
I don't know how they're going to do this, because you look at those numbers and think, well, that's not very good, but we had a lot less ball games here.
Yeah, we played. That's eight games total, as opposed to this would be game 11 under normal circumstances, and then you'd have 10 games of numbers on there. So, add some more numbers onto it, and then that gets to looking a whole lot better.
Yeah, CMU, when they defer, people notice they always put their backs to the clock. The reason they do that is so in the second quarter they can look at that clock as the half's running out, and they can just have better clock management that way. This has been a very lopsided series, Charlie. This is the 40th contest right now. Mid-America's won 35 and CMU 4. I believe CMU won last year, and I believe that this is another one they can start that streak over. Because just like they stopped the Missouri Valley streak, they've now beat Missouri Valley 3 years in a row.
All right, this is Pablo Pereira to kick off, and back is Donald Clark and Correll Hill. And we're just about set to go, and there is the opening kick. Picked up inside the 5. And run out beyond the 25, so a 20-plus yard return. See no linen anywhere on the floor, on the field, so the Eagles will take over at around their own 27-yard line. And we'll see if Paxton De Laurent, he does come out.
Zach Dressler was the tackler on that play, number 38 for the Pioneers.
Simmons in the backfield. Taylor top of the picture.
DeLeon just dwarfs him back there. He's so much taller than Simmons.
Yes, he is. Going to turn and hand the ball off to Simmons. Pickup of 1. 2nd and 9. Eagles going into the wind a little bit here in the first quarter as we look at the flags up on top the crossbar of the goalposts. De Laurent asks for motion. Little pass forward. And I think that is Correll Hill.
Years back, Charlie, they used to always do that as a handoff, but now if it falls to the ground, you do a pass, falls to the ground, it's incomplete. It's kind of a smart move. There, people have gotten smarter as the years have rolled by. I certainly like that little pass in there. A little
gain of about 3 on that play. We'll make it 3rd down and 10. As we approach 13:45, you don't have a clock on your screen today, so we'll give you the time more often so you can keep track of that. De Laurent back, looks, tucks, going to take off running. He's going to get to the first down and quickly and smartly gets out of bounds.
That is very, very cagey for a guy that's a freshman in college. See that ball, recognize it that quick, and boom, take out there and run to those sticks, and got past it and got out of bounds, no hit on him and anything else.
Yeah, he recognized that it was not going to work out passing-wise, tucked it, got his yardage, got out of bounds. First down for the Eagles as they're out to the 40-yard line. Three receivers bottom of the screen to the right, one to the top. That one comes in motion. Low snap. De Laurent on a quarterback draw. Picks up a couple of yards, and there goes a flag flying right where De Laurent was tackled. We'll see what that is. Don't know if it was a block in the back or what, but it was a tackle down low, and the flag went flying.
I didn't see anything, Charlie, to be honest with you.
I ain't either, but they're going to tell the white hat what. Block in the back. So block in the back will negate most of that. There was a pickup of a yard or two. The flag was thrown. The walk-off will make it first down and 18.
These are situations you don't want to put your freshman quarterback in. First and long, second and long, third and long.
De Laurent with an empty backfield. Hands it this time to the back coming around. Going to pick up some yards. That's Cooper Wilson. Tackle on the play by number 91, Denzel Mina. Well, that's a good play, Jay Murray.
You bet.
Gain of 7, almost 8 on the play. It makes it 2nd down and 11. It's still beyond the sticks, but it's better than 1st and 18 or 2nd and 18.
Right, another 7 or 8, and you got a manageable 3rd down.
Yeah.
What we're talking about. Stay out of those 1st and longs, 2nd and longs, 3rd and longs.
Simmons offset to the right of De Laurent. 5 on the play clock. Just gets it off in time. Good protection. Now breaks down a little bit. Scrambles to the right. Throws on the sideline. Completed. And that is Cooper Wilson. And that's another first down. And so far so good, Jim Ray, for the young man.
That is correct.
That was a nice roll and look. Didn't get frustrated. Didn't get anxious. Kept his poise. Looked downfield and found his receiver. 11:25 to go here in the first quarter. Eagles have taken the opening kickoff from their own 28-yard line down to the 42-yard line in Pioneer territory. Handoff. Simmons picks up a couple of yards after he's hit and moves it down, and a nice first down play there. That's going to gain 7, almost 8 yards on first down.
Yep, that's what you like there. You know, Did they introduce Katavius Taylor as a senior this year?
They did not.
I noticed that, and they got him listed as a senior. I'm wondering what's going on there, Charlie.
Well, they didn't. There were a couple of players that were not introduced as seniors. Will Miles was not introduced as a senior, nor was Marquez Daniels.
Interesting, isn't it?
It is.
Little trap play coming, power play.
Not going to pick up much there. Yeah, you don't know, Jim Ray, if they're with the COVID situation and all, if there's going to be some special administration given to ball players, seniors, to have part of their senior year taken away from them, whether they're going to allow them to have another year of eligibility or what the deal is.
I had a chance to talk to Coach Callaway, but he says it's changing every day. So I don't know. Maybe it's something here late in the week because I didn't talk to him late in the week, and it may have changed. So don't know, Charlie.
Yeah, don't know either. Marquez Crouch back into the backfield, and there's a flag goes flying and the legal procedure. So instead of 3rd and 2, now it becomes 3rd down and 7 as Crouch was going to just try and take it off tackle and pick up a couple of yards. Now they'll have to switch up the play a little bit.
We're definitely in 4-down territory, Charlie, so we just need to get part of this back and stay calm, cool, and collective.
Christopher Williams checks back into the lineup as we're down to 9:45. Cory Luke goes to the top of the screen. Taylor to the bottom. He's standing on the 4 down at the 40-yard line, bottom of your picture on the right. They're paying a lot of attention to him, as does most everybody. De Laurent in trouble. Looks, throws.
Wow.
Incomplete. And they're looking for a flag, and there is none to be found. And there comes one from way back deep.
Awful late.
Awful late and awful far back, and they're going to talk about it.
I tell you what, that was an escape artist right there.
Yeah, he wanted to roll left, and that was cut off, so he had to pirouette, come back, and then he's got somebody else there. So the officials are going to get together and talk about whether it was interference or not, whether the ball was tipped somewhere or not, which would negate a pass interference penalty if it was tipped, but I don't think it was. It was just thrown down the middle. They're going to have a long conference about it. 9:14 to go.
I think it's going to stick. Some pass interference on somebody.
They say the ball was tipped before the contact, so it negates the penalty and makes it 4th down and 7.
I'm sure the Eagles will go for it, unless they want to have a pooch kick and pin them deep.
And here comes the punt team on the fly with 15 on the play clock. And now the official stops play. They started the clock after an incomplete pass, so they're going to reset a few seconds back onto it.
I think he was given the sign to start the clock and kind of confused the people up.
Yeah, he wants 9 minutes and 20 seconds. Is that what he said?
I think so, Charlie. I wouldn't put
It's at 9 minutes now, and they're going to try and figure out. Did a basketball game here yesterday, and they wanted to put 10 seconds up on the shot clock, and it ended up putting 10 minutes up on the shot clock. So now you have 9:10 on it now. Petrin in to punt. Standing back around the 10-yard line is Kobe Hardin. Punt in the air. Calls for a fair catch, and he's going to take it around the 9-yard line, and that's where we will see Mid-America come in and take over for their first offensive possession of the ball game. So 8:58, so
long drive, and we came up short, Charlie.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out. I'm trying to remember. I do so many games, whether it's a 12-minute or a 15-minute. It's a 15-minute quarter, so 6 minutes of possession time and with nothing going there. So this will be Blake Atkins at quarterback with Manning as his tailback right behind him, and Manning goes in motion. They throw it out in the flat to him, and he dribbles it out of bounds, and nobody has called anything, so it's in a lateral, I believe, and it's going to be a loss of yards.
I thought that was a lateral. Looked like a lateral to me.
Well, and that's what the official ruled right away, and he was just going to let it roll and not pick it up.
That could have been scooped and taken in for a touchdown, but it rolled out of bounds prior to
Yeah, takes it back inside the 2-yard line.
Safety time.
So 2nd and 18, there's that long 18 yards. In the end zone is Atkins. Turns and hands it off up the middle. Going to get a little bit of breathing room, but not much. As that's Marquez Daniels on the tackle.
He's a heck of a ball player. I'm sure he'll be an all-conference performer.
And he and Will Miles, they're really easy to see because they're really tall.
Tall, and Daniels is really filled out.
Gain of a couple yards gets it out to the 5, so a gain of 3 makes it 3rd down and 15. Motion comes. Atkins back to pass. Lots of time. Looks and looks and looks, and now he's just going to step out of bounds and try and throw it. Don't know if he was out of bounds at that point in time. Doesn't look like it, but it's an incomplete pass regardless. And Mid-America is going to have to punt.
Should be great field position for the Eagles.
From their end zone. As it's 4th down. I don't know if everybody realizes it's 4th down. Oh, there's a flag in the end zone. If that's in the end zone and a hold, is that not a safety?
Yeah, but I don't know that they're going to call that. It might be a penalty against CMU. Kind of roughing the passer. I hope not, because it certainly didn't.
Well, he's out of the pocket running. He's fair game at that point in time, but they're talking back there. The flag's in the end zone.
Yeah, there was another play back there where the defensive player was with the running back, I guess. He called safety. I said one of the players just
Yeah, that's what the players are saying.
You're right, Charlie. Here comes big Colton Skyles off the signature of the safety, so CMU's up, Charlie.
2-0. 2-run homer puts the Eagles up early.
Wrong season, Charlie.
Oh, you called that. You said a good time for a safety. You just didn't figure it was going to be a holding call in the end zone.
No,
you thought it was going to be a tackle in the end zone.
I certainly did, Charlie.
So the Eagles pick up a quick 2.
Nostradamus, I'm not.
Well, you got that one right. And now they'll have to kick off from their 20. They do have the wind behind them, but the Eagles should get decent field position after the punt. Regardless, it's Pereira is their punter and their place kicker, so no matter how they do this, he's going to be out there. And we're looking to see who's going to go back. Cooper Wilson is back there as one of them, it appears. Or is that 19? 10 and 19 look a lot alike number-wise.
Here they do. Punt returner should be, well, they've got a Cole Schroeder here. The Carl Hill's one of them. He's the one that did it last time, Charlie.
Correll Hill and
Donald Clark. I don't know if that's Donald Clark or not.
Don't know either. We should be able to figure that out with the shoes and the sock arrangement that the receiver on the far side has. Going to punt, gets it away. Low line drive. And that's Hill.
Yes.
He's just going to turn up field and go as hard as he can, as fast as he can. Nice return. No flags anywhere so far. And he's run out of bounds in Pioneer territory around the 41-yard line.
Yeah, great return. Great blocking up front, and they didn't cover very well, and CMU's got a great opportunity here.
There wasn't a lot of east and west stuff. That was north and south. We're going to turn it up, and we're going to go as hard as we can, and no indecision there. Just go.
Yeah, he was quick. Made one little cut there, and the rest of it was just right down, cut it back to the sideline there, and it was a pretty good return. It's a return of about, 50 yards, Charlie, 40?
I'd say so. It was back inside the 20.
So 40 yards.
De Laurent, good field position, and a 2-0 lead. Simmons breaks one, continues to churn forward as best he can.
I sure would like to see him hold on to that ball a little better, Charlie. He's holding that like a loaf of bread out there. Make me nervous.
Gain of 5. As the Eagles try and establish the running game and help their freshman quarterback even more. Not putting him in bad situations. They did put him in a bad situation early at 1st and 18, but he worked his way out of that. Back to throw. Looks, throws the ball toward Taylor in the end zone, and he's got it for a touchdown.
And that was on the line, too, Charlie. That was a rope.
That was a bullet, and it's going to be a 36-yard touchdown pass from De Laurent. And I think we got a flag after the play, possibly a celebration penalty of some sort.
Didn't see that either, Charlie. Maybe my eyes are bad.
It's over on the far sideline around the 4-yard line. It's going to negate the touchdown, I think, because they're talking about, they're talking about you want to take it now or you want to take it on the kickoff. That's
right.
What it is. So we'll soon see what the official says. Unsportsmanlike conduct after the play on the Eagles. It'll be enforced on the kickoff. Petrin in to try the extra point. 8-0 after that safety and now touchdown. Waiting for the official to blow his whistle. Does, and now we're ready to go. Snap is high. Kick is on the way. It is good, and it's 9-0 with 7:12 to go. So Mid-America has had the ball for 3 offensive plays, and Central's got 9 points. A safety, a 36-yard touchdown pass, as I think all that Katavius Taylor did was just go down the sideline, little fly pattern down the sideline, and De Laurent threw a rope right on the money for a touchdown pass. His 4th touchdown pass as an Eagle. Pretty nice start for the Eagles.
Nice start for De Laurent, too. They're going to kick it off from the 20. They got
20.
The 20.
They're going to kick it from the 20, a 15-yard unsportsmanlike conduct penalty. So Mid-America will probably get very nice field position out of this.
Did they call it celebration or just call it unsportsmanlike?
Called it unsportsmanlike.
So that's something that Coach Callaway will definitely chew some butt about.
Yeah.
Which he should.
Jaron Manning and Josh Guerrero standing back around the 25-yard line. Petrin to kick into the wind. And it goes out of bounds, and that makes it even worse, as that'll end up coming out close to midfield.
Be the 40, won't it, Charlie?
Well, remember, they're kicking from the 20. They're not kicking from the 35. They're standing at the 40, waiting to have it spotted.
I don't think you can do anything different. It'll still be at the 40.
I thought it was so many yards from
Maybe
where you
you're
were
right.
kicking off from.
You may be right, Charlie. Looks like you are.
It happens every once in a while. You talk long enough, something good happens out at midfield. And I thought it was like 30 or 35 yards from where you kicked off is where you got the ball. So Mid-America with the ball at midfield.
I learned something today, Charlie.
That's what I tell my grandsons every day when I drop them off to school. Don't waste the day, learn something.
It's good wisdom.
They don't believe me. And we've got a timeout called against Central Methodist. So we'll just keep it here. We're underway. 7:12 to go. 9-0. Eagles. Give you some numbers on Blake Atkins, the quarterback for Mid-America. He is 96 of 169 on the season, 56.8%. He has passed for 1,534 yards, 13 touchdowns, and 5 interceptions. So in 6 games, he's thrown for almost 1,600 yards.
About 250 a game, isn't it, Charlie?
It's a pretty good chunk. They don't tend to run it very much. They average just over 100 yards rushing per ball game. Between he and the backup quarterback, they are throwing for 295 and a half yards per game. Handoff up the middle.
It seemed like they've been trying to establish a running game here.
And they finally get him down on the ground. And it's Manning. Colton Skyles, recognized as one of the seniors before the game, comes up with the tackle. It's a gain of 6, 2nd and 4. Atkins, empty backfield. Now Manning comes and resets behind him. Going to throw it high and wide, and too many people in the area. Had 2 receivers there. And all those receivers bring in lots of extra bodies as well defensively, so there were a lot of people there. That pass was high and hard and out of everyone's reach. They haven't changed the down marker on the side yet. It's 3rd down, and there's an offside. Nope. Long pass here. 5 trying to get to it and almost picked off. I don't see any flags anywhere from the jump, and everybody's turning around looking like what happened.
Are we going to get an extra down here, Charlie?
Shouldn't be. Somebody should be screaming and hollering. They still have 2nd down on the side over on there.
They're
Now
working
it's fourth
second,
down.
fourth, yeah. All right, didn't win Mizzou deal here.
Yeah, we don't need that. It's fourth down, and look, if they're not aware it's fourth down, they're getting ready to go for it.
Might be trying to draw him first, Charlie.
Yeah, could be. Almost got him off of that. Defender on that was Darian Bell that almost had the interception. And dragging and getting close to and may have the first down is Manning as he just pulls some people his forward. And it will be enough for a first down, I believe.
Yep, definitely is. Depends on the spot.
Yep, it's right on the 40-yard line, just beyond it. So by about half the length of the football, they get the first down. So Atkins back in. Now we got a pair of running backs in. One receiver to the top, two to the left.
CMU playing a 4-2 here.
Quick out pass to the back who came out in motion, and he's down the sideline and finally pushed out of bounds. As that is number 45, Cameron Finley, local boy from Sedalia, Smith Cotton High School. I called several of his ball games throughout his high school career. And our producer right behind me, Nick Thomas, saying, yes, we did, because he called his ball games last year. So first down inside the 25. Handoff, Manning runs into and runs over number 7, Cory Henley.
They must have saw something, Charlie, because they usually throw the ball, and they're running the ball a lot more than they're throwing it.
Yep.
Must be because we only have 6 in the box.
As soon as we start loading up a little bit more, they'll change and do the other. 5:47 to go here in the first quarter. 9-0 Eagles. Quarterback keeps it out into the flat.
Good tackle.
Nice tackle there as we see who gets up with that. That's Henley again. Tackle on the play.
Great open field tackle there.
And number 2 is Paul St. Louis, or St. Louis. Maybe he's French.
Loss on that play, Charlie, about 2.
Good. That'll make it 3rd down and 6. 5:15 to go in quarter number 1. 3 receivers left, and
Motion.
St. Louis takes off early.
He wanted to go to the foot races.
He was going to run him in a little skinny post and try and get open, and now it's going to be 3rd down and about 11. 12.
That's the way we want to keep them. Now they'll definitely have to throw the football, I would think.
Yeah, the stick guy is a little slow on moving around. It's 3rd and 11. Same setup. Back is Atkins. Looks downfield. Pressure comes. Dumps it off underneath and drug down from behind. Number 5 for the Eagles. Eric Mays with the tackle will make it 4th down.
He'll be a candidate for all conference, Charlie. He's a good player.
Yeah, and I think that was Torin Owolabi, the receiver. So in to kick is Pereira. And he is 0 for 4 in field goal attempts this year.
Something's up here, Charlie.
This is a 38-yarder with the wind behind him. Going to kick it. Gets it away, and it's blocked. Picked up at the line. As I'm looking at see if that is Will Miles coming off. Looks like he's the one that got the block, and it's 6-7. That would be understandable.
Absolutely. Good play there by the Eagles. Preserve this shutout for a little longer.
After Mid-America gets the ball at midfield, they drive down inside the 20. Have a loss, have a penalty, have their field goal blocked. And the Eagles are back out on the field. 9-0 lead, 4:06 to go in what has been a fairly quick-moving first quarter here from Davis Field on the campus of Central Methodist University. De Laurent to Simmons. Trying to get what he can and not going to pick up a whole lot, but he's going to pick up 2, maybe 3 yards on the play. Still positive yardage for Central.
I'm sure they'll remember that fly down the sideline.
Yeah, I'm sure they're going to start paying a lot more attention to where Taylor is. I'm sure they were already paying attention to him. And if you're looking for him, he's in the slot on the right-hand side. One back. De Laurent says something his direction. Drops back. Lots of pressure. Steps up. Flag goes down. Still looking for throw the ball, but it's incomplete.
Should be a hold.
I suspect you are correct.
But I thought it was a hold on the receiver.
And the penalty will be accepted and make it 2nd down, and instead of 7, it'll be 17.
Yep.
So the Eagles move the ball back and put their quarterback in a little more of a precarious situation. 3:18 to go here in quarter number 1. See if they want to go with something safe like a draw or a screen. Quick pass outside. Trying to cut up. Gets out to the 25-yard line or so. Correll Hill.
Gets it back to one stick, Charlie. Nice little play there.
Jonas Pippett with the tackle. 3rd down and 9 as the clock continues to roll. 2:50 to go here in quarter number 1. Cloudy, cool, damp day in Fayette. Waiting for Jim Ray to say perfect football weather.
It's perfect football weather, Charlie. Outside the rain.
Yeah, outside of a little bit of rain.
Take that wet out.
Spins out, looks, going to tuck it and get what he can. He's going to get a whole bunch. Oh, and he slides just after the 1st down marker. He is showing a lot of poise for a freshman.
He's got it. I was impressed with this kid. He's not cocky confidence. He's confident. Let me tell you, he's confident. But he's not cocky. He's got a subtle confidence about him. I wouldn't even say it's subtle. It's more than subtle. He is confident, but he's not arrogant.
Well, he knew exactly where he was, got down, just like earlier in the ball game, knew where he had to get to, got out of bounds, not going to take a needless hit.
To say the least, I like this kid.
Hand signal to the wide receiver on the outside. 7 on the play clock. He looks that way. Underneath. Knocked down.
A quick slant there and played very well by the Pioneers.
Pippett, 49, with the deflection, the defense there on that little short pass play. I think that was going to Hill. Or was that going to Wilson?
Slot receiver.
Yeah, he's the slot on this side, the 10 and the 19, and it's 10, so it was Cooper Wilson.
Thought it was.
2nd down and 10, 146. Handoff Simmons up the middle, got some running room. Picks up some yards, no flags on the play, so that play will stand as it is. And that's a gain of 7 on the play to make it 3rd down and 3.
Real manageable position here.
A lot of things you can do. Checking into the ball game for the Eagles is Keon Bass at a tight end out of League City, Texas.
Help recruit that kid, too. Anybody from Texas, I'll help recruit, Charlie.
Yeah, you have a really bad area to recruit from, don't you?
It's why I like Texas. Still getting my football fix.
Well, handoff. Dragging players, leaning forward is Simmons. And the official on this side says it's enough for a 1st down. They move it. It's 1:02, and the clock starts to go again. So we'll be under 1 minute here to go as the Eagles. Couple of 1st downs, get them out of deep in their own territory. They continue on. Simmons still in at the lone back spot. Looks like double tight ends, just one receiver either direction with a slot. Under pressure, spins out again, heads to the side, looks downfield, throws the ball behind, but incomplete.
He's just saving his soul there. He's throwing that ball out of bounds.
Yep, save it for the next play.
Live to fight another day.
That was Cory Luke, the intended receiver. He threw it back shoulder, give Luke a chance to come back and get it, but he was not able to do that. 2nd and 10, 33 and a half seconds to go here in quarter number 1 with the Eagles up 9-zip.
I certainly like that little spin thing he does.
He does have a nice little pirouette, does he not?
Is that what you call that, a pirouette?
Yeah, that's what we're going to call it. You can call it a spin. I'm sure I'll get in trouble for calling it a pirouette.
I wonder if he has a set of tutus.
I don't think so. You want to ask him afterwards?
No.
There's movement on both sides.
I would. I have his phone number.
Well, you might want to hang on to that. That might become pretty important somewhere down the line. Everybody looks, and the side official comes in and says it's offside.
Yeah, that's what I thought. All he did was do that offensive lineman just try to protect himself from getting.
Yeah, once there's movement, you're taught to do something to encourage the officials to throw the flag, and they do, and that'll make it 2nd and 5 instead of 2nd and 10.
Moving to Pioneer territory there, Charlie.
Yeah, just inside at the 49 in Pioneer territory. Clock still at 33 and a half. Never did start the play clock. Simmons looking for space somewhere. Ball comes out. It's on the ground. Or Simmons comes out.
I think it was Simmons. Charlie.
It was Simmons that came out of that pile and went forward and got the first down. So I just saw everybody go the other direction. That may be the last play of quarter number 1 as the Eagles are ahead. And they can manage this out. 18 on the play clock, or on the game clock, 22 on the play clock. And it looks like everybody says, let's just get to the next quarter, and we'll have the win behind us. So we're going to approach the end of the first quarter, and when we get there, it's 9-0 Central. We're going to take a 30-second break, and we'll be back with quarter number 2 from Davis Field. Eagles up 9-0. You're listening to action on the Eagles Sports Network.
At last, an approach to teaching and learning that connects the traditional classroom to the real world at Central Methodist University. Now you can learn the way you live and the way you'll work with the new Digital U, available only on the campus of CMU. Be more.
Back in Fayette, Eagles with a lead. Want to make sure that we give our corporate sponsors a big shout out. They make these things possible for us. MFA Oil, the Braun Home, Jennings Premium Meats, Community Auto Sales and Service, Airlink, Drury Hotels, Missouri Pacific Lumber, Howard County Electric, and Commercial Trust Company. They make the broadcast possible. For those of you watching, there's supposed to be a women's basketball game Monday night against Harris Stowe, but I've been told there's more than a good possibility that will be canceled. After that, then we're on the 24th when Clark comes to town and for men's and women's action, so that'll be the next basketball games for you on the Eagles Sports Network. De Laurent, under pressure, gets away as again, throws the ball deep. He's got a man wide open. He just overthrows it a little bit. Don't see a flag anywhere. De Laurent took a hit.
Yeah, I thought that might be a little roughing the passer there, Charlie. I really did.
Yeah.
But that's why I'm up here in this booth, and them referees are down there. They're making the big money. And
Jalen McQueen lost his helmet, so he has to leave for a moment. And it is 2nd down and 10. I don't know why the scoreboard doesn't have the down and distance and help us out a little bit. 42-yard line, 2nd down and 10. Hill motions, resets on the left side. And that's not Simmons, the running back. That's a big one, and there goes a flag on the play.
26 for the...
Is it 26 or 36?
I have Brandon Bolton. That's who that is. That's Brandon Bolton, a kid from Texas. Pretty certain. He's a running back, too. Marquise Crouch. Is this one or the other? Look like 26.
It doesn't matter because the play's negated by a holding penalty. So it'll be 2nd down.
I still think that's 26, though.
Okay.
But I might be wrong.
17, 2nd and 17, so there's that big number again.
They've done a good job of managing that, though, Charlie.
Impressed all around with the skill set that De Laurent has because he's got escapability. He doesn't go down. He's not been tackled for a loss yet. He's got spin moves. He's got get out of the pocket and run. He's recognized several different situations, and now he's going to roll right. Pump fake, looks, continues to look, throws low where only his receiver can get it, but it is too low and incomplete. Skips.
He was hit again, Charlie.
Yes, he was. He picks himself back up. Lineman comes back to check on him. He says he's all right. So it will be third down now and long. 14-18 to go. We were talking during the break about time of possession in the first quarter. It was all Central.
I think you're about right, Charlie. I think you said maybe 11 minutes, and I believe you might be right on.
We could be close. 3 receivers, and De Laurent's going to take a timeout with 5 on the play clock, so we'll stay here. That's timeout number 2 for the Eagles. There looked to be some confusion at the bottom of the screen as they had 3 receivers down there. And for the Eagles, Cooper Wilson started to come off the field and ended up going back out, so some confusion. So take the timeout. It's a big play. You got a lot of yards to get. Don't want to make a mistake and throw the ball where your receiver's not going and have it picked. So timeout number 2 taken by the Eagles here in the first half.
And all Eagles score reflects that, Charlie, 9-0.
9-0. A safety, a holding call in the end zone. And then on the ensuing kickoff from there, the Eagles drove the ball down and a 36-yard touchdown pass to Katavius Taylor. His 9th catch for a touchdown this year. And that would be catch number 41 on the season for him. We'll see during halftime if we can get an explanation, see if there's anything that we need to know about any special rulings or anything that the NCAA, NAIA has done regarding football season with COVID this year. Empty backfield, 3 to the top of the screen, 2 to the bottom left. De Laurent all back by himself, standing at the 44-yard line, waiting for the snap. 8 on the play clock. There's the snap. Line does a nice job of folding everybody in, and there's the pass to Hill, and he's got it for a first down.
Nice little jitterbug move in there, too. He's quick. Nice pitch and catch there, Charlie.
Yep. Looking to see. Tackle Ray Williams and Tanner Sample.
Big third down play there.
A lot of yards. Official wants the clock started. He's going to get rotator cuff surgery after the season because he can't get the clock operator to start the clock. Now he does.
He's going to start using that right arm.
He's going to have to do something different. De Laurent misses the handoff, takes it around the outside, picks up a whole bunch, and he's down for another first down.
For a tall, lanky guy, he's got some elusiveness.
Yes, he does, and that's Pippett on the tackle, and he's their number 2 tackler on the season. 51 tackles total coming into this. Haven't said 34's name yet. Jackson Burke, he's their leading tackler. Eagles in scoring position again, inside the 15, down around the 14-yard line. 1st and 10. Simmons back in at running back. De Laurent directing traffic. And there goes a flag. Illegal procedure against the Eagles, so it'll be 1st and 15. They have shot themselves in the foot a time or two with this.
Yeah, this is not good. These are things that are correctable that drive a coach absolutely insane.
Clock restarts. Just saw Jeff Sherman and his wife Julie pass by. Jeff in his 36th season, I believe, at Central Methodist as men's basketball coach.
Seen a few generations come through, hasn't he?
He certainly has, and I've got a little story about that in just a second since they're playing Mid-America. There's a tackle around the head that's going to be called something, whether it's horse collar or face mask.
About yanked his helmet off, didn't he?
I don't know if he yanked it all the way off, but he sure spun him. And we'll see what the call is, as the yardage was only about a yard on the gain on the play.
Could be a 15-yarder, Charlie.
Well, half the distance.
Excuse me.
Face mask.
So
The other part of the story about Jeff Sherman is Mid-America's coach, Rocky Lamar, has been there since he got out of college. He started out as an assistant coach, and he's been the head basketball coach at Mid-America for a long time. I remember seeing Rocky Lamar play basketball in college. That's a long time ago.
Charlie, you're telling your age.
Doesn't bother me at all. First down now and goal inside the 10, just inside the 10-yard line. Motion. That's Taylor. He's down here on the island, down by himself. He's got one-on-one coverage at the bottom, but they hand the ball to Simmons. He's going to make it down to about the 6, maybe the 5-yard line.
He was smelling that goal line. He was trying to get there.
Taylor's looking at the sideline. Go, call my number. I got one-on-one. I'm at the bottom down here one-on-one. Because he doesn't see one-on-one coverage very often. Ball's at the 6, second down and goal. He comes in motion again. Now they've got somebody else over there. Keep an eye on him as well, but he's still got a fade route. Quick pass underneath, knocked down. Good defensive play by 24. Dion McClellan knocks that down and makes a third down and goal. Take care of the ball. You're still in scoring range regardless. Here comes the wide receiving core back in. The extra tight ends leave, and we'll be back to 5 wide. Empty backfield. As Simmons is now at the bottom of your screen. The running back is split out wide.
They need to get this score in, Charlie.
Yeah, they do. We might see a little quarterback draw or something. Nope. Right there. Pass. And called incomplete. Player thought he caught it, and it's going to be Taylor. It is Taylor. So 4th down. And Petrin comes on. 6, so around 20, around the 13-yard line, be a 23-yard attempt.
He's been special player of the week twice this year.
Special teams player. He was that last week, was he not?
I believe it was, and he was a couple weeks before that.
So a 23-yard field goal attempt by Sam Petrin. Ball down, kick in the air. Good, makes it 12-0 Central, and there goes another flag after the play. And the way Central's walking off, somebody's being called for unsportsmanlike conduct again.
Well, I just don't see it, Charlie.
It has to be something being said. And we'll see if they tell you a number on this, but I can tell you who had his head cocked to the side like I can't believe you're doing that was Colton Skyles.
I saw the kicker raise his hands and signal of the.
It was after everybody started heading to the sidelines. Let's see it. See what the official says. Trying to figure out the number.
Number 88.
Yeah, kicker.
All I saw was that.
Unsportsmanlike conduct on the kicker.
There's another butt chewing.
There's going to be something going to be said about that. That's a touchdown play and an unsportsmanlike conduct penalty, and a field goal and an unsportsmanlike conduct penalty.
Well, Petrin's going to do the kicking again from the 20. He knew where to be at anyway, didn't he?
He kind of knew where that was going to end up. Manning back deep, along with Paul St. Louis. Got the wind behind him this time. Going to drive it back inside the 15, down to about the 14. Coverage after it. And down at the bottom of that pile for the Eagles is Kamel. But good field position again for Mid-America. 11:48 to go, 12-0 in favor of the Eagles. Safety, touchdown, extra point, field goal.
This might be their one of their worst field positions, though, they've had, Charlie.
Yeah, it's at the 34-yard line. Handoff up the middle, Manning.
I just don't figure it out, Charlie, why they've been so prolific throwing the ball and they keep running the ball. There's something they've seen, and they're sticking to it.
I don't know, but the defensive line for Central is interesting because nobody's getting down in a stance. They're all standing up, or they did on that play anyway.
Yeah, even Colton Skyles, the big boy from Ava Mo.
I think they're disguising what they're doing. Who's a lineman and who's not a lineman. There's a run out to about the 40-yard line.
I figured they were doing that because they thought they were going to throw the football, and then sometimes it might be easier to come out of a standing position than a stance position.
Colin Wilridge, he's their second leading rusher. Picks up a couple. It's 3rd down and 4. Just under 11 to go in the second quarter. Atkins looks to throw. He's got a man across the middle right there open. That is their leading receiver, Kobe Hardin. He's got enough for a first down across midfield into Eagle territory, down close to the 46-yard line.
Moving the ball a little bit here now.
Yeah, it looks like the defensive line now going to get down in a stance.
3 out of 4.
Yeah. Up the middle. Wilridge is the ball carrier.
He bounced out of there for a couple more, Charlie. I thought he was all hemmed in there.
Yeah. He's had 50 rushes for 119 net yards, and we've got a player down on the field for the Eagles. That's a pickup of 6 on that play, so 2nd down and 4. And while we're doing that, I will go ahead and get you a little more information about some of the great sponsors that make these broadcasts possible. AirLink Rural Broadband is your local wireless and fiber internet provider. Family owned and operated with coverage options in Sheraton, Howard, Saline, and surrounding counties. Interested in wireless or fiber service? Visit us at airlink123.com for information on all of your internet needs.
Colton Skyles with that play. I think he got a wind knocked out of him, Charlie. Got up on his own.
He's walking off under his own power.
Big old country boy from Ava. He'll be back.
And is that one of your favorites in there now playing nose tackle?
Well, one of my favorites is Colton. But is that the big boy from?
I believe that's 99.
That's old. It's one of my favorites. That's Snacks.
Broadnax?
They call him Snacks.
Yeah, I bet they do.
He's also one of our ambassadors, Charlie.
There you go. Close to a first down, but I don't think getting it. Coming up just short is Wilridge again.
Richard called me. If he called me once a week, he called me 4 times a week. He liked to talk, and I always obliged him. Good guy. I really like him. Good kid.
Mid-America wants to hurry up. Wilridge, I thought he was down, but he was not. And he scrambles forward to the 35-yard line, and will pick up enough for a first down.
I think that was Snacks on that tackle.
9:29 to go here in the second quarter. Eagles pitching a shutout at 12-zip right now. Hardin, their leading receiver in the slot right.
Trevor Ganaway's in there, big 98 from Marceline Mo.
Looking downfield, nowhere to go. Going to be sacked behind the line of scrimmage by 2 or 3.
A convocation of Eagles, Charlie.
Yeah. I used you last night in a basketball game, Jim Ray. The officials had to have a little meeting, and I said that was a dazzle.
I just can't believe it's a group of zebras called a dazzle.
A dazzle. Yeah. When you only have 3 and they're all standing there talking to each other, I guess you've got a dazzle. Looking up in the air, and Henley has his hands on it, but it falls incomplete in the end zone.
That's why he's a D-back and not a wide receiver, Charlie.
He's used to knocking them down instead of trying to catch them.
Well, he couldn't catch them, so they made him a D-back. That's what they always say about D-backs and wide receivers.
I hope his family's not listening to you say that.
Well, he's a good athlete. He does a good job. He's a D-back.
He's the 3rd leading tackler on the team from his defensive back position. 3rd down and about 2.
He's a good ball player.
Atkins looks. Finally throws the ball too high. Yeah, for as many times as they've thrown the football this year, 169 times in 6 games, and the yardage that they pick up,
it's about 20.
has not been extremely accurate yet.
That's 26, 27 times a game.
Yeah, and they're going to go for it on 4th and 2. Motion. Hardin is their receiver. He's number 1 in the slot. They run him across the motion, and if too high for the receiver. That was Brian Cox, the indented receiver. He's only got 4 receptions on the year. He needed to be about 6 inches taller for that.
Pretty good pressure up that middle.
Yeah. Will Miles comes off kind of favoring his right arm a little bit. Eagles will take over on possession. With 8:24 to go, we've got halftime stuff going on for you. We've got the CMU Marching Eagle Band out to perform, along with Pom Pom Squad. And I forget, I want to say High Voltage, but I don't think that's the name of the dance team.
Eagle Energy or
something like that. Simmons with the ball carry.
They're directed by Brenda Parisi, and Taryn Pimler does a cheer, former Kansas City Chiefs cheerleader.
There you go.
Back in the day from Glasgow, Mo. Married to a Pimler from Glasgow, Mo, I'll put it that way. Very, very nice people, Brenda and Taryn. Really like working with them when we recruit kids.
Gain of 1. 2nd down and 9. Under 8 to go. Eagles look to finish up with a winning record at 5-4 on the season. Motion. Pass. Oh, in and out of the hands. And De Laurent takes another hit. So it'll be 3rd down and 9.
Had to get his shoulder pad tucked back in, De Laurent did. I'm going to start watching this because it just seems to me like they've been hitting him pretty good.
Yeah.
Maybe he's holding on to that ball a little too long.
Just a little too long. He lets her loose. Taylor down there just can't. The wind took that just a little bit further, and Taylor comes up gimping. I think he got stepped on. His heel got stepped on.
Got cleated. Is there a flag on that play?
There might be. And there's a player down for Mid-America on the side. That's the whistle being blown. You look for the quarterback. He's walking over here on the side, so it's not, not that.
He's hobbling off, too.
Yeah, looking to see that would be Reese Portugal.
Number 17. Their numbers are a lot easier to see, Charlie.
Yes, they are. They got on white uniforms with dark numbers that are easier to see. Central's got dark uniforms on, trimmed with white lettering, and that's all on the same colored background. So,
yeah, virtually impossible.
Yeah, not as easy to see.
I've expressed my displeasure to Coach Calloway.
And he has dismissed you readily.
No, he said he understands, but he said it looked good.
Well, there you go. Petrin gets it away. End over end, going to bounce, take a big roll, and it does, and it's going to turn out to be a nice punt. And we've got skirmishes over on the sideline as the whistle hasn't blown yet. 2 Mid-America players on 1 Central player. Holding his own as best as possible.
No flag.
No flag. And we'll see where they finally end up placing this. It's inside the 10-yard line.
I thought it was inside the 5, Charlie, but I think you're right. Inside the 10. It's a heck of a punt by Petrin. He's done a nice job.
Yeah, about a 56-yarder. That'll help his average a little bit. He was averaging 32, so that'll help his average some.
I was watching him in practice, and that's about what he kicks, 35 yards. If you take the 10 or 15 yards, they'll be back, which is 15. He was kicking the 50, and he was kicking them in the end zone.
7:19 to go here in quarter number 2. Atkins back. 1 back behind him. Hands it off to that back. Tries to make a cut. Doesn't get anywhere. That's Cameron Finley.
Well, they drove old Will Miles back that time.
Darian Bell on the tackle.
Young man out of Texas also.
Wonder where Cameron Finley's twin brother Christian is at these days. They were together in high school, obviously. Draw up the middle, not going anywhere. That's stopped around the line of scrimmage, and that's Finley again.
They've had a lot of long and third down and longs, Charlie. CMU's done a great job defensively in that respect.
Stop them here and get the ball back with 6:20 to go. Good field position. Miles is just pushing the quarterback, pushing the defensive lineman into the end zone.
Is that another safety?
It is another safety.
Wow.
Will Miles just kept shoving the offensive lineman back into the quarterback, who dropped the ball, picked it up, and then was tackled in the end zone. He's saying I was in the field of play. But I don't think anybody's buying that story right now, as the officials are going to talk about it a little bit.
We picked up that ball. The ball was in the field to play. When he picked it up, he got tackled, and that was in the end zone, the way I saw it.
Yeah. They're picking it up and they're going to bring it out for Mid-America to kick it off. So now it's 14-0, and we've worked our way back to a somewhat normal score. A safety, a touchdown, an extra point, a field goal, and another safety. 14, just easy, Jim Ray.
We're seeing it all. Now we need a special teams TD and a pick six, and we'll have it all for CMU. About every way you can score. Yeah, I guess you can scoop and fumble too.
Yeah, there's lots of different things, but two safeties in the game, that's unusual,
to say the least.
Coaching staff wanting the deep players, to step up a little bit because they're kicking off from the 20. Pereira will do that. He will punt it from his 20.
Surely wouldn't try it on sides, would he, Charlie?
They're going to tee it up, so they could, and because normally you see them punt out of this situation.
I'd certainly be aware of it because they're down by 2 scores now. They're lucky there's not one more than that.
Well, it could be here in the next 6-12. Into the wind, ball held up, going to be taken around the 30-yard line. Again, just cutting it up the field and going. Cuts to the outside, 40-yard line on the other side. That's Cooper Wilson.
Good return by Cooper. And just instead of doing all this jitterbugging, they're getting up north and south. In fact, when he got tackled, he was jitterbugging. He could have gone on and maybe got 2 or 3 more yards.
Yeah, that's a 31-yard kickoff return, so nice field position at the 39-yard line in Mid-America territory. And the Eagles with a short field, first down or 2, and they're in scoring distance of field goal again, but they're looking for a touchdown. As much as they've dominated, they would like to be up 21.
Wouldn't be surprised to see them go deep here, trying to stick a fork in them.
3 stacked outside, screen out there, putting head down and running, and here comes another flag.
They call that bad, hit to the head there.
We'll see if what they're going to call. Going to be a gain of about 7 on the play. And it's against the offense.
Hold.
Didn't hear what he said. I just heard the part about against the offense. We have the windows closed because it is a little cool.
Not bad, Charlie.
For football, it's all right.
Be better than that 90 when we're sitting up here.
Oh, boy, isn't that the truth.
This fat man was roasting.
1st and 13 after the penalty, so it was going to be a gain of 7. Now it backs up from the spot of the foul. Taylor going to roll and look. Throwing across the middle. Got his receiver at the 25. That's enough for a first down.
He's got a strong arm when he rolls left, and he's right-handed. They're able to throw that ball like that in there on a zip line.
Hill with the reception and a first down. 5:33 to go before halftime. And it certainly appears the offensive line and the receivers like this quarterback.
Yeah,
Official trying to get the clock started. Nobody's paying attention, and he's now waving left-handed. Oh, almost a great catch there. Laying out for that. Christopher Williams, rather, tried for a one-handed catch. Only 4 seconds came off the clock. The official keeps pointing at it and wanting it to move along. 5:29 to go. And we've picked up some yards on that because it was 1st and 13. Now it's 2nd and 10.
I thought it was an incomplete pass.
It was.
That don't make any sense, Charlie.
Hey, I think there's some people asking that question because the penalty took it back to behind the original line of scrimmage. There's a pass over the middle, too high.
Nobody else was going to catch it, were they, Charlie?
They were not. That was intended. And that was Carlos Fernandez on the coverage. The chain crew over there is having an interesting day.
It's 3rd down, isn't it, Charlie?
It's 3rd down and should be 13, but they put it up to 3rd down now, and it's 3rd and 10.
I can't believe their guys over there aren't raising the thunder.
Quick pass outside. What? What about that? That hit Cory Luke right in the numbers as he turned around. De Laurent found the exact spot where he was going to go and threw it there as he was under pressure. Luke turned around, hit him in the stomach before he had his hands ready and his head turned around, and it falls incomplete. And it's 4th down, and Petrin's going to come in and try himself a 41-yarder with the wind at his back.
He's got the leg.
And he's got the wind. Ball's down. The kick's got plenty of distance. And it's good. 41-yarder. Let me look and see what is long on the year is 48, Jim Ray. So that was inside of his range, and now it's 17-0.
He's knocking on the door for another special teams player of the week for the Heart of America Athletic Conference.
Yeah, with a 56-yard punt or so, couple of field goals, extra point.
Makes it 15-0 here, folks.
Makes it 17-0. You forgot the second safety.
I did. You're right.
5:11 to go. And the prolific offense that we have seen on paper from Mid-America.
That's Marty Stewart's defensive. He's a defensive coordinator here. It's his players implementing his system quite well today.
So, Manning and St. Louis back. Petrin to kick off. 5:11 to go. 17-0 Eagles. Ball is in the air. This is going to be Manning back around the 1. Turns it up, lowers his shoulder, runs into his own player, and he's going to be down close to the 30-yard line.
Thank goodness he ran into his own player.
Yeah, he had a little crease there to get through.
He looked like a locomotive heading downhill.
Everybody's just putting their head down and going straight ahead, Jim Ray. No, not a lot of juking and trying to make people miss.
This is it. This is the last game of the season. You don't have to live to play another day.
So Atkins back out.
CMU playing a 2 high here, so that means they got to cover 2 going.
Manning drugged down from behind. Darian Bell in on it. I think he was in on the tackle on the kickoff as well. We've said his name several times today.
He's a good player. He's come in. He's a kid that came on a reserve scholarship, ended up being on a varsity scholarship now.
2nd down and 10, no gain. Atkins under pressure, and down he's going to go. That's Miles that has him there.
Miles, and there's another one. Is that Colton Skyles? I think it is.
Yes, it is.
Miles
was instrumental in the last safety by pushing his lineman all the way back into the quarterback, which made him into the end zone. And then he's tackled for a safety. That's a loss of 7+ on the play, so 3rd down and almost 18 for the Pioneers.
Call it forever.
We've said 3rd and 17 and 18 a lot so far, and there's a pump fake, handoff underneath, little Statue of Liberty type play. Going to get him back close to the original line of scrimmage with 3:50 to go. but it'll be 4th down and long.
CMU's got a chance here to tack one on before the end of this half.
Hill going to retreat, punt formation. He's back inside of his 30, going to line up about the 27-yard line and wait for this punt. And we'll see.
He's done a nice job all game long returning those balls.
A little pooch kick by Jackson Burke. Picked up at the 30. The return is coming this way, so a lot of east and west here, and down he goes inside the 25.
That's what happens with east and west, Charlie.
Yeah, well, Burke picked the right side to kick it to. The return was left, the kick was right, and a long way to run across.
If he got by that one more the guy that made the tackle, he had an open lane up this left sideline. Could have been Katie Barr the door.
Had a nice wall set up, but could not get to it. 2:50, and I don't know why the clock is running. It's change of possession. Shouldn't it be stopped?
Should be, Charlie.
It's still running, and now they're going to stop it and want to put some time back on it.
It's not the NFL.
2 minutes and 50 seconds, so they're going to get at least put 9 seconds back on the clock. See what the Eagles want to do. They're deep in their own territory. 1 timeout left, 2:50 to go here in the second quarter.
Delaron's been making good decisions all day. I say let him go.
Quick out pass.
Let that dog eat.
And that's going to be called a lateral. There's no whistle blew until it went out of bounds.
Well, I didn't see that.
The pass is incomplete, so the official overrules.
Yeah, I agree with that.
That took 3 seconds. 2:47 to go.
A little hitch pattern out there. It was to his backside, a little hard catch. Ball was a little errantly thrown.
Quick slant. There's Luke. He's got it. Makes some people miss. Hanging on to the ball, young man. He does. Out across the 40-yard line. 1st down. And there goes a flag. It is getting a little testy out there, Jim, right?
Yeah, some teams that haven't lost, they don't like to lose.
That was Jonas Pippett on the tackle.
Did we get a signal what that was, Charlie?
We're still talking about it back at the 32-yard line. Coaching staffs have something to talk about at halftime. Eagles with 2 unsportsmanlike conduct penalties already.
Those are unacceptable.
After scores.
Yes, those are unacceptable.
And it's a 3rd unsportsmanlike conduct penalty.
A little more to talk about.
And this is a wide receiver who did not catch the ball.
So it'd be a 1st down, correct, Charlie?
It'll be a 1st down, and it's after the play, so in theory it could be 1st down and 25 after they mark this off.
That is correct.
Unless they want to mark it off and put the sticks there and call it 1st and 10 from wherever they end up walking this off to. 2:39 to go.
1st and 25. I think you're right the first time, Charlie.
Nope, they're going to pick the sticks up and go back there and call it 1st and 10 from way back where.
Okay.
Yeah. That's better for the Eagles than 1st and 25.
So they get the down marker, right?
Yeah, well, they've got 1st down up again. So at the 28, official says start the clock. It starts rolling. Here's that out pass again.
Basically call that a hitch.
Yeah,
Just a hitch pattern up there.
Let's see if that's Hill or if it is, in fact.
You notice how quick Delarant wants to get rid of that ball in that hitch. A lot of quarterbacks will take their time throwing it out there. We need to get that ball out there so that receiver can do something.
I think that was Cooper Wilson. Picks up 5, 2nd down and 5. Quick little look. Under pressure. Going to go down. Sacked.
That's a coverage sack right there. He had plenty of time
Jalen
to throw
McQueen with the tackle.
that. He had plenty of time to throw that ball. He just, people were covered.
Loss of 3 makes it 3rd down and 8. We're under 150 to go. Still got 20 on the play clock, and Mid-America has not taken a timeout to try and save any of this time. They've got all 3 of their timeouts still there. Late substitution. The official comes in to make sure that everybody has a chance to make a sub. 3-man rush. De Laurent out of the pocket. Picks up some yardage. Picks up a first down.
Yep.
Clock will stop.
I sure like his style, Charlie, I tell you. I'm impressed.
He has shown a lot of poise. The official out there saying to pump up the play clock looks more like he's wanting the crowd to raise the roof.
Yeah, exactly.
Wants to get the crowd involved. As you would expect, sparse crowd. Get out of bounds, young man.
He
does not. Clock continues to run at 1:06. 1 timeout for the Eagles. It's a gain of 4, almost, we'll call it 5. Under a minute.
He could have got out of bounds real easy there.
Yep. De Laurent, flushed, looks. Going to continue to look. Find somebody wide open in the middle.
Get out of bounds.
Get down. It's a first down. Get up, but the ball's loose. I think Central recovers it.
I think you're right, Charlie.
Dakar with the catch. 40 seconds to go.
Clock did stop.
While they move the sticks and while they get people up off the ground. Now he's going to start the clock. He wants to start the clock, and the clock does start. Looks like a spike. Nope. Fake. Katavius Taylor inside the 5-yard line. They lined up as in a spike, like they were going to spike it, but they didn't, and Taylor just nonchalantly standing out in the corner catches it and takes it down inside the 5-yard line.
Yeah,
so
they caught Mid-America off guard.
Yeah, they did, because everybody thought like me. They're just lining up to spike it, and they didn't. So after the unsportsmanlike conduct penalty, 28.7 seconds to go. Central in scoring position again, up 17-0. Going to be sacked? Yes, he is, and they'll have to use their timeout as it's down to 23 seconds.
Got hit on that one.
He hops back up again.
Sit a little blitz there that time.
Yeah. Talking about just get rid of the ball. He really didn't have a chance to get rid of the ball. By the time he took his drop, turned around and looked, he was under pressure and didn't really have anywhere. And he's a freshman. Do you really want him just throwing the ball down the field somewhere to get rid of it when you're in scoring position?
They were on him like bees on a hive.
Oh, yeah. At least he didn't have to turn and drop back. If he had, it would have been a rude awakening when he turned back around again. So that's the last timeout for the Eagles here in the first half. It'll be 2nd down and goal, and the ball is around the 11, 12-yard line, somewhere in there.
Get some more room to run a pattern down there.
Yeah, that was the old days when Bill Holmes was here. He would take delay of game penalties or false start penalties so he'd have a little more room for his man Tom Stein to throw the football.
He could wing it.
Yes, he could, and he did on a lot of occasions.
Holmes run that Eric Coryell. He was good friends with Don Coryell.
He was way ahead of his time.
Yeah, head coach with the San Diego Chargers back in the day.
So 22.3 to go on the clock. De Laurent, 2nd down and goal. If you catch it in the field of play, you better hurry up and get back to the line of scrimmage because no timeouts left. De Laurent, no flags down yet, turns and just throws a jump ball in the air and almost intercepted. That was probably his most ill-advised throw of the ball game.
Looked like he was trying to throw it out of bounds, Charlie.
Ray Williams almost had a one-handed interception. So now it's 3rd down with 13 seconds to go. Now you have no choice. You have to throw the ball either sideline or into the end zone because caught in the field of play, you'll not get the field goal team out there. It's 3rd down and goal, so you can't spike it after this play. 5 on the play clock. Rolling left, looking, throwing back across. And it's caught for a touchdown.
Wow. Wow.
We'll wait and find out who that is that made that catch. That was another laser beam throw by De Laurent.
He's got a gun. He can sling that rock.
I can see the player, just can't see the number to tell you who it is. It looks like 19. If it is, that's Hill.
Could be Cooper because he's 10. You can't tell the
Yep,
difference.
exactly.
One's a little taller than the other one.
You need to get them stand side by side so we can see. Extra point on the way and good. It's 10, so that is Cooper Wilson with the 11-yard touchdown pass. 24-0 with 7 seconds to go. So after the unsportsmanlike conduct penalty moved them back, and it was not 1st and 25, it was only 1st and 10, De Laurent and the Eagles move down the field, score, leave 7 seconds on the clock before halftime. We'll have the band at halftime along with the dance team, pom-pom squad, cheerleaders, all kinds of different things for you, along with halftime stats that we'll get from the staff here at Central Methodist. Rachel Moore, very instrumental in getting things done. She spent a long afternoon in the gym yesterday, as did I. I did a 3 o'clock women's game and a 7 o'clock men's game yesterday here on the campus of Central Methodist.
Just think what spring's going to bring, Charlie.
Yeah, well.
I told her it's going to be a nightmare for travel because you'll have basically all the sports are playing in the spring except football.
Except football. Squib kick. Nope, going to kick it deep. And on the run comes Manning. Gets to the outside, which is all right. Down underneath, and the clock runs out while he goes out of bounds. We'll see if they put anything back on the clock. As there was just under a second when he went down. Central's going to the locker room. It says zeros, we're leaving. Mid-America is starting to walk that direction as well. See if the officials call them back. Central has now stopped going to the locker room. Mid-America hasn't. And I think we're at halftime.
There you go.
Halftime score, 24-0 in favor of the Eagles. The officials running hard. I think they're trying to get ahead and get in between the teams so that there's no more shenanigans, shall we say.
Good word, Charlie. I like that.
Between the teams. So 24-0 is the score. Band is coming out. Once we get them set up, we'll turn the mics over to them and let you listen to the Central Methodist University Marching Eagles. And then we'll come back with halftime statistics and whatnot for you in just a few minutes here on the Eagles Sports Network.
Under the direction of Professor Skip Vanderlicht and the field command of Drum Major Alec Fields, Central Methodist University proudly presents the Sound of Central, the 2020 CMU Marching Eagle Band.
The CMU band opened today's halftime performance, performing a precision drill written by adjunct professor of music Steve Litweiler to a tune made famous by the Doors entitled Touch Me. The Sound of Central would now like to feature their color guard under the direction of Karen Jeffries with a routine to the Lady Gaga hit Bad Romance. With Veterans Day being this past Wednesday, the Marching Eagles would like to pay tribute to all those who are serving, have served, or who have had a member of their family serve in our armed forces. When you hear the theme song of yours or one of your family members' branches of the service, please stand and be recognized. Here's the CMU band with an Armed Forces salute. The United States Army. United States Air Force. United States Navy. United States Coast Guard. United States Marine Corps. On behalf of the Central Methodist University bands and all of the CMU community, we would like to say thank you for your service to our country. And now, to close the 2020 halftime season, please join us when the Sound of Central as they play our school fight song. Here comes Fight Eagles!
All right, that is the sound of Central Marching Eagle Band. We are at halftime. It's Charlie Brown along with Jim Ray Cluck. We've got halftime statistics for you, and you're going to find them to be pretty interesting when Jim Ray starts talking about some of these numbers that the Eagles' defense, we talk about the Eagles' offense a lot, the Eagles' defense has done.
Well, I'm telling you, I got to take my hat off to Marty Stewart. I mean, and his staff there on the defensive side of the ball. They rushed for 18 times, and they only have 11 yards. That's unbelievable, but they've only thrown. This is a pretty prolific passing offense. And they had 9 attempts and 4 completions for 44 yards total offense.
11 yards rushing, 33 yards passing, 44 total yards on 27 plays. Even my low-level math knows that's less than 2 yards per play. Oh, we got the dance team. Let's go back to that.
For the Eagle Envy Dance Team. Now, fans, if you can please find your rainbow tickets for the Psychology Club.
All right, so Envy Dance Team.
I just came up with that name right before they announced it, Charlie. It
There you
popped
go.
into my feeble mind.
Well, I thought maybe you were the one that named them the Envy Dance Team.
I think that would be Brenda Parisi.
Okay. So 44 yards of total offense for Mid-America. And I am going to flip over their offensive sheet and tell you that they averaged just under 400 yards of total offense per game.
Just bumfuddles me, I tell you. And they've done, CMU's defense has done an outstanding job. And, I mean, the score indicates that, 24-0.
Yeah, absolutely. And you look on the central side of it, 76 yards rushing. They've made an effort to try and establish the running game. 199 passing yards for 43 plays as opposed to the 27 plays that Mid-America's run. 44 yards of offense for Mid-America, 275 yards of offense for Central Methodist in the first half. We were looking at the time of possession, and those numbers can't be right. Maybe that it says 29-22. Well, we've only played 30 minutes of football, so I'm not sure how. Maybe that's 19-12. But regardless, the time of possession is on the central side.
Yeah, I looked at that, too, and I'm going, that can't be right.
Can't be right. You are correct.
That'd be like a whole game.
That's the whole ball game, correct.
So maybe, 12 and 19, I believe that's what it'd be. About 10 minutes too much on both sides, isn't there, Charlie?
Yeah, I'd say that's about right. So Laurent, 12 of 26 in the ball game, and he's had a couple of passes dropped and a couple of balls that he just flat out threw away. 199 yards, 2 touchdowns, and receiving yards. Hill's got 43 yards and a touchdown. Taylor's got 51 yards and a touchdown. So it's been spread around quite a bit. Eagles are back warming up. Mid-America has not made it back out onto the field yet, but the numbers are pretty staggering and pretty surprising for the Eagles.
And Delaurent has not thrown an interception. He's only been sacked once, if I remember right, Charlie.
That I think you are correct. I'm sure it says on here somewhere sacks. Maybe not.
He's playing a very poised ball game. That's what I'm trying to say.
The only number on there that I would be unhappy with if I was a coach was the 9 penalties called against Central for 73 yards.
3 unsportsmanlike.
3 unsportsmanlike conduct penalties, correct.
Those are the bad ones.
So, get our corporate sponsors in here. Want to make sure that we get them all announced. Community Auto Sales and Service is a one-stop shop for all your automotive needs. From brakes, tires, and oil changes to front-end alignments, engine repairs, batteries, and state inspections, they have everything and can do anything to keep you on the road safely. Proud supporter of Eagle Athletics. We were mentioning that we have not said Marquez Daniels' name much, if at all, in this, and I'm looking on the sideline to see if I can find number 8 out there, and I do not see a number 8, and he's pretty hard to miss.
He could be down with me. He may be one of the people in quarantine, Charlie.
Yeah, he could very well be. But do not see him on the sideline. De Laurent playing catch on the side. It has been all Eagles first half. 24-0 is the score.
It's been all Eagles, Charlie. There's no doubt about it.
Now, Mid-America gets the ball to start the second half. They won the toss, deferred, so they will have it to start the second half.
I look for them to throw the ball a lot more this second half, Charlie.
Well, they're almost going to have to. They don't really have much choice.
Well, anytime you're
your running game has got single digits.
Yeah, 1 yard, a little over 1 yard per carry. That's not going to cut it too much.
That is not going to get it very far, and that's why they've got a 0 on the scoreboard. So, yes, the defense has done an outstanding job of stopping the running game.
That's just unbelievable. Anytime you give up only 11 yards, as long as you don't give up 44 the whole game. That's why I can't believe the time of possession's even close.
Well, we supposed at the end of the first quarter that it was 11-4 time of possession in Central's favor. That would have been a 7-minute advantage, and if we think these numbers should be reduced, then the second quarter was about even in time of possession. And there were times that Mid-America had the ball for a couple of first downs and had the ball for a while. And they've been trying to run the ball. They're not throwing it much.
It's been a fast game. Started at 1 o'clock, and what is it now, 2:36, Charlie? That's pretty fast.
Yeah, and I'm all for that. I've got a charity auction to get back to Warrensburg for tonight that I was there at 8 o'clock this morning setting up for tonight's Warrensburg Schools Foundation. It's a charity auction that raises money, and they deliver it to the schools in the form of grants and some things.
Are they having that? Is it on virtual? Or
it is virtual. It is their first ever virtual, and we are helping to stream that for them tonight as they're in the learning process of how to do all of this. And I think we've opened up another little avenue of some things that we do, and because we've got some other people who have already made contact and wanting to know how do you do that and what can you do for us. So we may have opened up another thing that Prepcast that I work for, high school sports, now going to be just events in general. So we look forward to that. Got to get back for that. It's a 6 o'clock start, so I've got an hour and 40-minute drive to get home. So if this can get over before 4 o'clock, I can make it back for the auction tonight, which will make a long 2 days for me, but happy to do it.
You can even pick up a sandwich along the way, Charlie.
I don't know. It's going to have to be ready to go. And my other thing is, every time I pick up a sandwich on the ride home, Jim, I'm wearing most of the sandwich by the time I get there. I don't really need to show up at an auction with mayonnaise and mustard and ketchup all over me, and that almost always happens when I try and eat on the road.
I did that with Just Jeff's Burgers. Just Jeff's. Did that over in Columbia. Exactly the same thing happened to me. I look good in everything I eat.
Ball fumble back around the goal line. Got to pick it up and make the best of it that they can, and things just continue to go south for Mid-America.
They've had a little trouble with the kicking game, period. They bobbled a couple of them.
Well, they have two safeties, so they have a problem. One was a holding penalty in the end zone. The other was Will Miles, defensive end for the Eagles, pushed his lineman that was trying to block him all the way back into the quarterback and knocked him into the end zone where he was tackled.
Yeah, him and Colton Skyles tackled that quarterback for a safety. Yeah. 2 safeties in the ball game. You don't see one in the whole season usually.
Atkins back to throw, throws the ball behind his receiver. That would be number 5. That is Caleb Tanis. Incomplete. I don't know if it's the elements. I don't know if there's a problem with Atkins throwing, his throwing arm. And I mentioned that, and I'll tell you about that in just a second. Handoff up the middle, tries to fake out pass outside, and that's going to pick up some yardage. One of the teams we cover high school-wise is Warrensburg High School, and they got thumped last night by Helias Catholic out of Jeff City, and no one knew, the players knew. The quarterback for Warrensburg had an arm injury, was in a sling all week, and did not throw the ball around very well, and that was a problem. So we don't know if Atkins is having some sort of arm issue because they're just continuing to try and run the ball, and he's going to be sacked and thrown down in the backfield. That's Will Miles again.
He's having a heck of a ball game.
He is. He's blocked a field goal. He's caused a safety. He has tackled. He's got a couple of sacks on the day. He's kind of about all he's got left to do is block a punt. I think it's about the only thing left for him to do. Jackson Burke back to kick. He averages 42 yards per punt from his end zone. Gets it off, low line drive. Hill on the run, keeps it from bouncing.
Awful gutsy.
It is, catches it about the 38, and that's where he goes down, but he keeps it from bouncing and rolling back out towards midfield or beyond.
You can call a fair catch with that, Charlie.
You can call a fair catch with that, but you're liable to still get tattooed for it because you're running full speed trying to wave your arm and catch the ball. But the Eagles have excellent field position inside the 40-yard line. And Hards makes his first appearance that I have seen. He's at the bottom of the screen. He is a 6'7" wide receiver.
You definitely couldn't miss him.
Well, that's why I see him out there. Trayvon Hards.
Simmons on the carry.
Up off right tackle. Gain of 7 on the play. Underway second half. 13:20 to go here in period number 3. Katavius Taylor, bottom of the screen.
All alone here, wide open.
He can run a corner.
Fade route.
All by himself. Simmons pulled down in the backfield.
I certainly had to try that. I don't think they're not clouding him or anything over. In other words, putting 2 defenders on him.
McQueen with the tackle. We've said his name several times. Laws of a couple on it. Makes it 3rd and 6. Taylor going to go wide right. Hards at the bottom of the screen. Double tight ends.
They do have a too high safety. Got to give him a lot of respect off that ball, don't they, Charlie?
They do. Throws it underneath, but it's short.
Did I get tipped, Charlie?
I don't know if it got tipped, but it ended up well short. And if it wasn't tipped, it's probably as poor a pass, not under pressure, as De Laurent has thrown today. He wants to go for it on 4th down. Keep giving me the play, and the coaches say, yeah, we're going to give you the play, punt.
Got 24-0 lead. It's thing to do. Defense playing well.
Yeah, no reason to give a short field. I understand you're at the 34-yard line. This isn't going to help Petron's average any.
He put it inside that 10-yard line like he did last time when he kicked about here.
Takes his time. A little pooch. And Hardin calls for the fair catch around the 5-6-yard line, and that's where Mid-America will take over. 12-17 to go.
Great kick by Petron.
Held on to it, gave his cover team a chance to get down and get underneath of it. Again, want to say thank you to all the corporate sponsors that make these broadcasts possible. MFA Oil, the Braun Home, Jennings Premium Meats, Community Auto Sales and Service, Airlink, Drury Hotel, Missouri Pacific Lumber, Howard County Electric, and Commercial Trust Company. Back at the edge of the goal line again. Up the middle it goes. And that is, I was going to say Manning, and it is, number 4.
One of their bigger gains, Charlie.
Yeah, one of the nicer runs. Manning with 376 yards. Doesn't sound like much, but remember, that's only 6 games they have played coming into this one. Second down and 2. Hands it again. Fighting for a first down. And that's Manning again, and it is enough for a first down. It's out to the 18-yard line.
I think there's something got to be matter with that quarterback. I mean, his arm or something.
Yeah, that could be that. There's really no reason that they're not throwing the football.
A pretty good-sized squad. You'd think they'd have another quarterback over there, wouldn't you, Charlie?
Well, they've got another one listed, Levi Taylor. Handoff to Willridge.
I don't know. If something doesn't work, I'm going to try something different. I'm not sharp as a rock in the pile now, but.
Miles with another tackle. Hitches up his britches and ready to go again. Gain of 2, 2nd and 8. You know the defense wants to pitch this shutout.
Oh, do they? Doesn't taste finer.
Short pass into the ground, well in front of the receiver. 3rd down and 8. 10:52.
My nephew played on an 8-man team up in Iowa, Charlie. I'll tell it after this play.
8-man football is bizarre.
Well, when I tell you the score, you'll say.
100 and something to whatever and 100 something. Pump fake goes long. Receiver out there. That's Hardin with the ball. Knocked away. He wants an interference penalty call. Doesn't get it. Stomps and goes back toward his huddle. It's 4th down as he had his hands on it. And it was knocked loose. He's still overjawing at the official about that. What was the score of the football game, Jim Ray?
108-96. Unbelievable. My nephew's is 6'2", 240, freshman, 14 years old. In July, he'll turn 15 in July. He's already got an offer from a South Dakota school to come and play ball for him at 14. He's a heck of a player himself. But he's a lineman.
Almost blocked. It'll roll out and make it to midfield, and that's where the Eagles will take over. 8-man football is just it's a wild game. It's here in Missouri in high school in 11-man football. They have the mercy rule. In 8-man football, there is no such thing.
Okay, they were ahead by 20 points. His team is in the semifinals. They ended up losing, but 108-96. I mean,
And I was at the game that I saw. I didn't read the article. The all-time highest-scoring high school game in history.
That is correct. 108. I can't believe you guessed 100. I just couldn't.
Well, you were telling me, and I said I saw something that said a high-scoring game, so I was going to have to guess it was got to be a big number because I've seen some 70-50 games here in Missouri.
108-96. My neck would have got sore. Going back and forth, I was at the game, sitting in the middle.
How
of the
long do you think that game took to play?
Over 4 hours. Over 4 hours, Charlie.
Yeah.
And the quarterback for the little town, I'm trying to, I'm forgetting it. They're from Deep River, and I forget the other name of the school. I'll think of it here in a second, Charlie.
Okay, 2nd down and 8. De Laurent steps around pressure, steps up, lets it go long to Taylor, but he overthrows him. He threw that without much effort, 55 yards in the air. It'll be 3rd down and 8.
Montezuma is the name of the high school. Montezuma High School.
So Montezuma's Revenge, is that what that was?
They lost in the semis. 108-96, folks. That's unbelievable. It was a track meet, not a football game.
9:18 to go. This quarter is going pretty slowly with several incomplete passes. 3rd and 8 for the Eagles. Roll right. De Laurent gets away from and a player, and he can get out of bounds. Player from Mid-America chasing him comes up lame with a bad hamstring and goes off the field as Ray Williams, freshman from Kansas City, Missouri, had an angle on De Laurent, or so he thought. De Laurent kicked it into gear. Williams tried to catch him and comes up holding the right hamstring and heads straight for the bench.
He just runs better than what you think he does. He's got a long strider.
Resets. Handoff up the middle. There's a lot of yardage there. That's either 26 or 36. I think it's 36 Crouch. See if he turns. It is 36 Crouch.
I think 26 is a little squattier.
I don't know how.
Well,
That's a bowling ball out there right now.
Good point, Charlie.
Second down and a long 2. Oh, my. Nice play there by 32 for the defense, and we'll tell you who that is. That is Briley Ray, and I can tell you I know that name because that was the Odessa wide receiver last year that started out the championship game in Class 3 last year by running the kickoff back for a touchdown for Odessa High School.
CMU player got the wind knocked out of him on that play.
Was that
number 10 or number 19? I can't tell the difference.
I think it was Cooper Williams. Loss of a couple of yards. Yeah, 19 Hill is out there in motion right now, resetting in the slot. Quarterback gets after it, flings it, and it's caught.
Wow. I really like what we got coming here in the future, Charlie.
Boy, you surround him with some more skilled players, and you may have something for the next 3+ years. 4 years.
4 years.
Sorry, 4 years.
3+, you covered yourself.
Yeah, not really. 7:50 to go as the official wants to get the clock started, and he can't get their attention to start it. He finally just gives up. They do start the clock.
He is going to have.
His left arm is hurt.
Yeah.
Look at that move by the running back right up the middle inside the 10.
Is that Simmons?
I don't think so. Whoever it is needs to hand the ball to the official and get back because we don't need another pass. It's Crouch. The PA man says. Down to the 7-yard line. First down and goal. 7.5 to go. Nice run. Eagles running the football, running the clock with the 24-point lead.
Tack on another 7 here, Charlie.
Give it back to Crouch again. Reverses his field. He's down inside, and they're going to mark him down. Nope. The official on this side says he's in the end zone. The official on that side says he's short. So we'll see which one wins.
De Laurent was saying touchdown.
The linesman on this side said touchdown. And they're going to call him down inside the 1-yard line. Clock continues to run as we come up on 7 minutes. De Laurent's going to back up and run the clock down a little bit as there's 23 on the play clock. He's not in any hurry. 24-point lead, and there's the flag. And waiting that long may have been a bad thing and may have gotten his offense to move prematurely. Yep, false start against the offense. So what looked like a smart play turns out to be one that doesn't go the Eagles' way.
It was a smart play, but he needs to let that clock as his friend.
Yeah, let it run. Then they want to start it again, 6:50 and rolling. Second down and goal, back out around the 7-yard line, 6-yard line now. Taylor in motion, resets wide right. He's one-on-one out in the corner. Handoff, left tackle, that's Crouch. Bounces off, almost gets free to the end zone, but he's down at the 4. Now they're going to mark him at the 5. It'll be third down and goal. Last man that had a shot at him got him down. Otherwise, he's in the end zone.
He's a hard runner. He runs hard, Charlie.
Yes, he does.
A nice cutback, too.
De Taylor, bottom of the screen. That's him in motion going across. Crouch again, back up the middle, spins, and he's in the end zone this time. They reward the young man with the carry into the end zone as he carried the ball the last 4 or 5 plays to get it down the field, and it is 30-0 in favor of the Eagles, pending this Petrin extra point. 5:49 to go.
And he'll be back with us next year. He's just a junior. 225-pound junior.
He looks bigger than that.
Well, that's on a, let me get his height there.
5'6" frame. Extra point is good.
They're
31.
They're saying 6 foot. I'm going to call that a misprint.
You're going to say not really?
No, somebody's being exaggerating.
Yeah, somebody's being friendly.
Very friendly. If he's 6 foot, I think I'm getting close to 6'2". Looks about. Well, you can compare him to how he compares to Delarant.
Yeah, we know Delarant's a good 6'5".
Yeah. Might still be growing. He played football last year at Camden at 195. He said during the COVID he couldn't do anything, so all he did was lift weights. He reported to camp at 230, 235.
Okay, so what do you show Broadnax, your buddy Snacks? What do you show him height-wise? Is he on your list of?
He'd be 99.
99, yep, because they're about the same height. What do they list him at?
5'8".
They're standing side by side on the sideline,
Very good.
and they're pretty much the same size.
Broadnax, Snacks is as tall as he is wide. He's a good young man.
Great nickname, Snacks.
He's a Broadnax, but he eats snacks too, let me tell you.
There's the kickoff. Into the end zone. Going to be downed right there with 5:47 to go, for the clock was running for some reason.
He'll be in my office on Monday telling me his mama listened to the ball game and I was calling him Snacks.
Yeah.
Mrs. Broadnax, it was very nice working with you.
So she doesn't get upset when he's called Snacks?
I don't know.
Or is she the one that named him that?
No, that came up here. I think it may got down there, but I heard it first up here. Coach Callaway calls him Snacks.
Yeah. I had a baseball player one time who his nickname was Snack Bar.
He does a good job. He works in the admissions office as a ambassador. He gives tours, and he's all-out businessman.
There's the hook and lateral, and stepping out of bounds as they're trying to pull out anything. I just don't think there's some reason why Atkins is not airing the ball out. Everything is short.
We've seen maybe one long pass today, Charlie.
Yeah, one long attempt. In the last possession, the receiver had it knocked out of his hands. That would have been about a 30-yard gain. That's about as far as it gets. Another running play.
Nice tackle. Is that Will Miles?
Yeah, I think it is once he stands up.
Yeah, that's Will Miles.
It is. You're looking at a defensive player of the week for the Hart player right there. As he's had a little bit of everything. He just needs an interception to kind of round all this out.
The defense side of the ball is right. He did well with the ball game. 3rd
down and a long 2. I'm going to hand it off up the middle. Going to get the first down is Manning. And some more.
They can run all they want to. We got a 31-point lead, Charlie.
And the clock running at 5 minutes to go here in period number 3.
Maybe they'll wait till the 4th quarter and start throwing that ball around.
Well, they're into the win, so maybe that's a factor.
I don't think that wins. Well, just blowing a little out there.
Here comes Manning the other direction with a run. As Henley tries to strip it out of there.
Henley at number 38 or 20. I think it's 38, isn't it, on that tackle?
That would be Jalen Riggins, a freshman linebacker. Anthony Hernandez also involved in that tackle.
That's a good-sized kid, 6'2". They'll put some weight on him. He'll be weighing 200 next year.
Underneath it goes, tipped in the air, and falls incomplete. As the closest player to that was London Chambers for the Eagles.
Colton Skyles is trying to come up on it. I don't know what he's doing way back there.
I don't know either, but that would have been interesting to see that rumbling and stumbling down the field.
You and Chris Bergman.
Yeah. And there's Miles almost with another. Skiles almost has a sack. Tackle down the field. It'll be 4th down. Hernandez given credit for that. Also in that vicinity was number 30, Keaton Edwards.
Can't believe they're going to punt it either, man. I tell you what,
Interesting play calling.
to say the least.
You're a passing team and you run the ball.
You're
down 31 points in the third quarter, 4th and 1, and you're going to punt.
He punted it, too.
He did, got it away. Fair catch signaled and taken inside the 15-yard line. They'll mark it around the 13-yard line.
That's a good job there by Hill.
3:42 to go, third quarter. How about a nice 80-plus yard running drive, eat the rest of this time up in this period and part of the next one, and move along. 31-0, 3:42 to go, third period.
Be a great way to close out the season, Charlie.
Yep, smash it down there. De Laurent back out. Simmons at the running back. Taylor wide right. As the defense has to know where he is, I'm kind of keeping an eye on him myself. Run it up the middle.
I don't think there's any reason not to run it.
I don't think there is either. Run the clock.
You're getting 4 or 5 yards of carry, might as well.
If you can't protect the 31-point lead with 3 minutes to go in the third quarter, there would be something wrong. So why wouldn't you run the ball, run the clock?
You gave up 44 yards in the first half.
Yeah, your defense is pitching a shutout. De Laurent, 12 on the play clock. Gets the snap, looks.
Nice catch.
Yes, it is. That's Luke.
Nobody else could have caught that ball but him. That's what I like about this De Laurent.
And he's delivering the ball on time.
Yes. In fact, sometimes just a shade.
A little early. Yeah, they're having to turn around a little quicker. I think he's got a little more zip on it than Brown did as the previous quarterback.
I'm impressed.
Things are rosy right now. They won his first start last week. They're winning the start this week. He's looking for somewhere to go. Now he's just looking for a way to get down on the ground. Burke and Sagapola on the tackle. Loss of 2, 2nd and 12. No hurry. 18 on the play clock, 2:03 on the game clock. Going to step up, try and get away. Not going to make get away. Is that again?
Another loss on that play.
Sagapola with back-to-back plays. First time we've called the names. His name, and it's on back-to-back plays. And it'll be third down and long. 1:30 to go in the third quarter.
Had to separate the 2 10s down this left sideline.
Yeah, no reason to get
John.
Yeah. Receivers are just now getting back to the line of scrimmage for the Eagles. 13 on play clock. Five on the play clock. Gets it off. Slings it over the middle. And incomplete. Player down on the field. Slow to get up, but getting up.
Yeah, he's backpedaling on that one when he threw it off his back foot.
Wesley Smith in on the coverage. 1:05 to go, third quarter. And now the PA announcer says Petrin. He was Petrin earlier. We've discussed that during the course of the year.
Coach Callaway says Petrin.
Snap high, gets it, gets the kick away. Boomer. And
took that one on the run too, didn't he, Charlie?
He did save some yardage. That's Hardin. bounds at where are they going to mark it out of bounds at? They're going to mark it up at the 46-yard line. They started to mark it at the 41, but at the 46. Keep waiting to see if we're going to see a different quarterback, but Blake Atkins looks like he's still in there.
Pressure, pressure, pressure. Getting a lot of time.
Yeah, he got a lot of time to look around. Finally wings it. Almost pulled in. That's Hardin.
He doesn't look like he's inhibited throwing the ball.
No, but everything is short.
Yeah, 15, 20 yards at the most.
I just don't know how in 6 games you can throw for 1,500 yards and struggle this way. Because his numbers are not going to be very good today. They were 4 for 9 in the first half. And there's Miles hitting him again, and there's an interception. There's one of your bigs getting it. If that's Colton Skyles, you're going to go nuts.
It's Colton Skyles, isn't it?
I don't know. We can't get him up off the ground.
I can't get that number.
I can't either.
It's not Colton Skyles.
It is not Styles. No, it is not.
Not wide enough to be Skyles.
93 perhaps. We'll soon see if they ever let go of him on the sideline. It is 93 is the number.
That would be John Tyler Polk from Boonville.
Senior gets it, and Will Miles caused all of that. Getting in the quarterback's face, making him back up. He gets credit. I mean, he's going to get credit for a lot of stuff in this ball game.
Mama Kim Polk is jumping down there in the side, back there in the end zone.
He's one of the seniors that were recognized before the ball game.
They don't miss a game, I'm telling you.
From nearby Boonville, only about 20 minutes away. Here's a double pass coming from Taylor. Down the sideline, just leads his man a little bit too far. That was Clark who was the intended receiver.
That's why he's a receiver, Charlie, not a quarterback.
Well, why don't they put Miles out there? Maybe he could use a passing touchdown here to pad his stat line a little bit for the day.
Done everything else. He played well ball if he's not Defensive Player of the Week.
I would hate to see what the stats were for somebody that did make Player of the Week over him defensively from this effort today, as he's picked up all kinds of slack from Daniels not being around. He's right down here in front of us talking to Skiles. They're discussing their defensive strategy right now. And there goes a flag in the air, so don't know if that was a lot offside or what, but that comes from the far side. Simmons with the carry. That official on that sideline, he can launch that flag pretty well. He got that a long way up in the air. That went straight up.
Get blown by the wind at all?
It didn't look like too much, as they're going to talk about it, and we'll find out.
Illegal shift.
Illegal shift. Probably 2 men in motion, or 1 man in motion who did not reset. It'll be second down and 15. 27 seconds left in quarter number 1, and the official says start the clock, and they do. So we'll see with it. There's 27 seconds on the clock. They start the clock, and they're going to have to snap the ball in this period because the play clock's down to 7 and the game clock's down to 10. Hand it off again. There's a room to the outside, but he doesn't make it out there, and that'll end the third quarter of play.
I believe that's the longest quarter of the game, Charlie.
I'd say so. That one lasted a while because of the incomplete passes. We'll just stay here, make producing a little easier for my buddy Nick Thomas behind us, doing the production. Appreciate that. We'll get a couple more of these ads read for our sponsors so they get their money's worth. AirLink Rural Broadband is your local wireless and fiber internet provider. Family owned and operated with coverage options in Sheraton, Howard, Saline, and surrounding counties. If you're interested in wireless or fiber service, visit them at airlink123.com for info on all of your internet needs. See a couple of the CMU basketball players walking in front of me. I recognize Trent Lyle, transfer in from State Fair Community College. I covered him some in high school when he was at Sacred Heart High School in Sedalia. He was the starting point guard yesterday for the CMU men's basketball team.
Who's their off guard, Charlie?
Last night it was Austin Fisher was the other guard, and then the third player that they run at guard is from over in Illinois. And I'll think of his name in a second. Starts with a Mac. I will think about it in just a second. I had it, and then I had to go and say too much about where he was from, and then I forgot his name. But he's one of the few seniors on the team. Third down, 13. Roll out. Throws on the run. Out of bounds. Intended for Taylor, but knocked out of bounds. Covered by number 10.
He threw that ball on a rope, too.
Sometimes you wonder if there's any touch. Carlos Fernandez on the coverage.
I think he's got the touch, too. I've seen that on a couple plays, too. But that had to be a rope there. It would have been intercepted.
Yeah, on the sideline.
Another poocher coming up here.
Into the wind. Kicks it. Hardin takes it back inside the 10-yard line. Petron's numbers, kicking-wise, may not be great, but his inside the 20 has been pretty good today.
He's had 3 balls inside the 10.
He had a 53-yard punt in the first half and then 3 inside the 10. He's done a fine job.
And 2 field goals.
Couple of field goals.
3 extra points.
And he's a junior from Bunnell, Florida.
Mm-hmm. Seems like he's been kicking here forever.
Down the field, tipped, almost intercepted. 3 Eagles get their hands on it, tipped. Henley got a hand on it, knocked it, and then the third Eagle got his hands on it, but it falls incomplete.
Why is that, Charlie?
Why is that what?
That's why they're not wide receivers.
Why they didn't catch it, all 3 of them? First one was just a tip. But Henley got his hands on it, didn't get it. That's the second time he's had his hands on a ball and didn't get it. Second down and 10.
They practice that tip drill all the time, too.
Henley's got happy feet back there, doesn't want to get planted. Now throws it over on the sideline, and he throws it into the bench area. His numbers, we may walk over at the next break. I may go in the next room on the next break and look and see what his numbers are for this ball game, because he is not completing 56% of his passes like he has been.
You lucky if it's
before
40.
now. Yeah, well, he was 4 for 9, and it hasn't gotten a lot better for him here in the second half. Here comes blitz. Hit him as he throws, and that one will be picked off. Trying to find his way to the end zone, and that's Henley, so now he can be a wide receiver. He caught one.
There you go. I put the jinx on him in a good way.
There you did. You said he couldn't catch the ball, and that's why he's a D-back. And now, and they go get the turnover chain to give to him. He's going to get to put that around his neck.
Yeah.
As just recently. Yeah, that was a pretty short keep for, who did we say, 93? John Tyler Polk had the turnover chain there for just a second. And now he's lost it, but he ran over, picked it up, and turned and gives it over to Henley, who's wearing it proudly around his neck right now.
Yep. He came right back and called me a liar, didn't he?
He proved you wrong once. 13:58 to go. Run the ball however many times you got to run the ball, run the clock, get a score, 31-0. You got enough points to win.
Yep, the clock is your friend, as I always say.
Yep, in this case, most certainly. Simmons, left side, tries to cut back into the middle, falls forward for a couple of yards.
You watch Delaron again. I've been touting him pretty good, but he continues after he hands that ball off. He still continues to carry out his fake, like he's going to throw that ball, which is a lot of quarterbacks do not do that.
It's a pickup of 2 on the play, second down and 8 from the 18-yard line. It ain't broke, don't fix it. You're looking at Taylor, bottom of your screen. That's where he's going to go, too. In the middle. And Taylor's got it for a touchdown.
That's a good catch.
You could see that coming all the way around. That's exactly where he was looking to throw the ball from the very beginning.
Showing a fairly 20-yard in pattern.
Yeah. Taylor's second touchdown catch of the day. That gets him to double digits on the year. He's got 10 touchdown catches now on the season. And Petrin in to try the extra point. 37. Make it 38-0.
Coach Callaway would definitely be happy with his crew today.
I would say so. If you'd have told me before the ball game we'd be looking at 38-0 in the fourth quarter, we would have been scratching our head trying to figure out who came up with 38 points and who shut out the other side.
Well, I really thought CMU would win by 2 touchdowns is what I said, told my wife earlier, but I didn't think they'd pitch a shutout against these guys.
De Laurent on the sideline, getting glad hand from everybody. He just looks like he's having fun, Jim, right?
Yeah, I like
at 38-0. He is having fun.
A pretty nice victory. I mean, 2-0 as a starter, Charlie.
Yep, he started last week and they won.
It's a pretty good deal.
Beat Evangel, on the verge of beating Mid-America.
Evangel was on the road too, down in Springfield, Missouri.
Petrin to kick off. Going to just dribble it along the ground. Picked up around the 35-yard line, and that's where he's going to go down, and that's Jackson Moss, freshman from Kansas City. And I think we may have a new quarterback. Can't tell. It is.
He runs a little better, I'll say that much.
Well, that's Taylor, the backup. Levi Taylor gets to midfield, picks up about 12, maybe 13. It'll be first down. He is 16 of 26 on the season. 61%, 239 yards passing, 2 touchdowns, 2 INTs. And it looks like Manning with the carry, and perhaps the Mid-America coaches have had a conversation with their offensive line. They've run the ball a couple of times, picked up a first down, picked up 6 on that, so it's 2nd and 4. Finley in the backfield, gets offset. Going to throw the ball. Got it deep, but it's a quacker. And it's intercepted. And there's your man Henley again, Jim Ray.
I'll tell you, I'll keep saying it, man. That's what he got 2 interceptions now.
He's got back-to-back. That ball was caught up in the air and just floated down that way. So maybe that's why we didn't see this quarterback a little sooner. Why, if you've gotten 13 and 8, running the football, you throw it. Just,
I don't know, you're down, what's the score,
38?
Yeah. I mean, you got to do something. You just can't.
I know. I was thinking they were just going to commit to the run and try and get the ball into the end zone and get the goose egg off the board. 12:06 to go. De Laurent, still at quarterback, resets one of his backs. Hands it off. That could be Crouch.
You're right, Charlie.
It is. Going to pick up a couple of yards. Going to run the clock, though.
He's been he's had a hot hand today.
He's going to come out, and going in his place is Manuel Langlois. He's going to be right behind De Laurent.
Got the pistol look going, Charlie?
Yep, right behind him, second down. It'll be Langlois with the carry. He has met Langlois. And we've got a player down, lost a helmet, so somebody's going to have to leave for a little bit for a play.
The big Byers? No, it's not.
He'll turn around, we'll tell you, because their numbers are stretched pretty good. 63 perhaps. We'll see if that is Ashton Adino. Freshman offensive lineman from Prairie Village, Kansas.
5'11", 315. Wow.
Taylor, outside. Close to. And it good for a first down. And 63 is the number. So under 11 to go, first down. Central will be able to run another minute or two off the clock with a couple more running plays if they don't get a first down. 10:40 to go, 14 on the play clock as De Laurent looks over his shoulder at it. Sends a man in motion. Reset. Looks at the play clock. 5. Snaps it. Hands it, almost dropped. Missing one tackle. And headed down the sideline is Crouch, but a flag comes flying in.
Had a nice run there by Crouch.
It was. He was bottled up, got away from it. So it's enough for a first down and then some, but the penalty flag is laying at the first down marker. So if they mark it from there, and it is a holding penalty against the Eagles, it will be first down and 10 all over again.
So it would have been first down anyway if you wouldn't have held, probably.
Yeah, it would have been a first down because he was out beyond the 40-yard line. Now they're going to march off 10 yards from the spot of the foul, and it's going to be close to being first and 10 and just replay the whole play all over again.
It's going to be a first down and 8, isn't it, I believe?
Yeah, they're going to mark it. Yep, you are correct. And they'll start that clock. The official, if his left arm is still in its socket. There he goes. Now he's using his right arm, so he's good.
I'm sure he's left-handed, I believe.
I suspect he is, and he's probably really, really tired right now at this point. Handoff up the middle, going to pick up a yard or two. Langlois on the carry, but again, it's enough for the clock to continue rolling. Second down.
I think they'll run it again. They may throw it.
Got a cord flying in front of us. I think that's probably ours.
Wind picking up a little. Doesn't seem so.
I think somebody got into it maybe. Or it flew from around the corner. We'll soon see. I think somebody's into it. Now they're going to get rid of it. Taylor almost catches that as we're watching to see exactly what's going on with our cord because that's one of our cameras around.
I think they figured it out finally.
Yeah, he just let it. He's leaving it alone is what he's doing. 9:30 to go. Third down and 8.
Might see a pass here, Charlie, a little short pass. Run the bunch group down here.
Yeah, they do. 3 down at the bottom of the screen, including number 82, Cole Schroeder. Oh, and he almost had it, and then he lost it, and he almost got it back, but incomplete it goes.
That would have been enough for a first down, I believe, Charlie.
Well, he could have caught it and ran a little bit. Petrin back. Hardin standing around on his own 40-yard line awaiting this. Almost 3:25 game time is 9:26 to go in the game. One late player comes running on. And a snap going to go over the head and go out of the end zone, and there goes the shutout.
Wow. Heck of a way to lose a shutout.
Third safety of the game.
His last couple of snaps prior to that have been high, Charlie.
Yep, a little bit. So it's 38-2.
Petrin, whatever way, he's tall enough that if you snap it over his head, you snapped it pretty high.
You've done a pretty good job. I'm looking on your sheet to see if I can find his height. Jim Ray looking at his.
Petrin's 6 foot, looks a little taller than that. He's a lanky kid. .6 195, they say. Check and see if the kicker was the same thing. Should have him listed at 6 195 there too.
All right, so if you're the defensive squad for the Eagles, do you still say you have a shutout since they didn't score on you?
Nope.
Nope.
Shutout's a shutout. The thing says 2.
Central's first points of the ball game were on a safety. Veterans got it teed up. Wildridge. And running up as the wind catches it. And missing the tackle but going out of bounds is St. Louis, Paul St. Louis, or Paul St. Louis, as the officials come running up to keep sides separated a little bit as it got chippy for a while there in the second period of play. And back into quarterback is Levi Taylor. He is a junior from Victorville, California.
Probably a transfer, most likely.
And Cameron Finley with the carry, going to pick up a couple of yards. Clock will continue to run as we approach 9 minutes to go in the game. And thanks to our producer, Nick Thomas, who is here doing this for us again today. Good job as always. There's Finley. Ball's out on the ground, and I believe the Eagles, there's like 6 of them there against one Mid-America player. We'll see who's the strongest on the bottom of the pile.
You cannot believe what goes on the bottom of the piles, Charlie.
And they retain possession, so Finley comes up with the ball.
There's biting and pinching and everything else. It is brutal.
And it's enough for a first down to go along with it. So the clock continues to run. 8:40 to go in the game. And that is number 6. That's Wildridge on the carry. Going to pick up about 7 on the play. Second down and 3. More defenders in.
He has 97 on the tackle for the Eagles. Isaiah Struder, young man from Texas.
Couple of moves there, but nothing going on.
Struder getting his first start of the season, I believe.
Yep, he did.
He's got a motor.
There's your man Ganaway on the tackle.
A big boy.
Loss of 2 on the play makes it 3rd and 6. Hand off again. Nope. Quarterback keeper. Enough for a first down. Gets up and points for a first down.
Stops the clock momentarily. Now
7:35 to go.
He's back using that left arm now.
I think he's trying to use the one closer to the scoreboard so they could see it. Hand off Wildridge. Not quite the same enthusiasm for the defense after the shutouts off the board.
Oh, they're still playing pretty well, Charlie.
Yeah, I know. They're just not flying as much, and there are some substitutes, some different players out there. See if Henley can get the hat trick with another interception, or Miles can get another sack. I don't think he's out there, though.
I don't think he is anymore either, but somebody got a sack.
Somebody did, and there goes a flag. That might be Ganaway on the sack.
That was a big Ganaway, I believe.
That's what they said. I was just looking to see if that's what it is. And here comes the flag with 6:46 to go, as we just can't keep the clock running.
And there was signal here on the. Looks like Mid-Am was going to go back, but now they stopped. Looked like they were retreating a little bit.
A lot of conversation going on.
Got a dazzle going on, don't we, Charlie? Meeting of the Zebras.
You do have a dazzle out there. Got a convocation on one side. What's a whole bunch of
Pioneers? Don't know that one. Pioneer.
Dead ball, unsportsmanlike on Mid-America. No offsetting, so back up 15. Bryce Walker onto the field. He's one of the seniors. Met his folks last year after a ball game at one of the watering holes in Boonville that we all frequent a little bit. Had a nice chat with them. 3rd down and 25 as it was a dead ball. Clock starts, 6:44 to go. Draw play up the middle. Finley. Going to get part of it back, but it's still going to be 4th down and 16, 17.
A group of Pioneers is called a wagon train.
A wagon train. Jim Ray. What'd you say, Nick?
I just Googled that too.
And it's a wagon train? Yeah, wagon train. All right. We had a convocation, a wagon train, and a dazzle going on out there a little while ago. We're approaching 6 minutes to go. Punter in for Mid-America.
They just actually act like they've given this game to CMU.
I think that's been that way for a while.
Absolutely.
Lots of dancing around and going to pick up about 5 yards of return yardage.
Ran 10, got 5. Thought there for a minute he was in a dance contest, Terry.
Well, maybe he heard us say dazzle and he was trying to do that.
Maybe he's trying to dazzle the Zebras.
Yeah, maybe so. I thought maybe at this point in time we might see another quarterback besides De Laurent, since the game is well in hand with 5:48 to go. Looking to see who all is on here quarterback-wise. Kobe Gatson.
This kid from Texas.
Joe Slatery from Florida. Alex Adams from California. Hand the ball off and run the clock. There you go. Simmons.
That's a recipe for success.
It is with a 36-point lead in the 4th quarter. The Woody Hayes, 3 yards in a cloud of dust.
It's 38 or 36. 38, isn't it?
Ball carrier?
No, the score.
It's 38-2.
Yeah.
It's 36-point advantage.
Correct. You had me bumfuddled there.
Yeah, I do that on a lot of occasions.
Well, you had me bumfuddled. I didn't say you.
Probably got everybody bumfuddled. I got some grandsons who might be listening, so I want to say hi to them after this play. My wife said she was going to dial them up. Simmons out across the 20-yard line. Want to say hello to Caden, Ray, Owen Ray, and Little Sugar Ian Ray. 7, 6, and 2. Clock rolling at 4:40. 3rd down and 5. Play clock at 15. De Laurent, no hurry, sends a man in motion. Stands there like he is completely uninterested in what's going on right now. Now he looks at the play clock. It's down to 5, and he has the ball snapped. Looking short, now throwing it across the middle, and has Hill, but the ball, I think, was deflected away by Burke, Jackson Burke. leading tackler on the team, with 66. That's 11 per game, my math says.
Pretty good, Charlie.
Yeah, how about that?
Must be that CMC education.
CMC education, that's correct.
Central Methodist College back in the day. Again, shows you Charlie's age.
My age, absolutely. Not embarrassed. I'm old. Petrick gets it off. Going to get a bounce and a roll. Let it go. Don't touch it. Let them run all the time off the clock that you can. 4:04 to go.
He did the right thing. Picked it up, gave it to the official.
Yep, because the return man was watching for a Central player to touch it, and then he can pick it up and do whatever he wants to with it, and there's no danger of a fumble because it's already been touched by the defense.
Or he can just pick it up and run it.
That's what he was going to try and do, and if he happens to fumble it right away, then it's still would be the Pioneers' ball. Malik McCurdy, 31, right defensive end right now for the Eagles. A little pitch forward to St. Louis.
St. Louis?
San Luis.
What do the front say?
As it would be in hockey terms with Canadians, San Luis. 3:45 and counting.
Huge win here. It was not won yet, but huge. It's going to be a huge win for the Eagles. Takes them to 5-4 winning record.
All right, now we got fingers being pointed, and we just need to separate and continue on.
But a big victory for Coach Callaway and his staff here, and as he's turned this corner and got things rolling right for the Eagles. Really look for big things from them next year.
Be 3rd down and 2 as we approach 3:10 left in this ball game. Normally I say in the 4th quarter, but with a 36-point lead, I think that's somewhat safe. And there's a Finley with the carry, and he'll have enough for a 1st down.
Studer on the tackle again. I like see him this next year when they put about 20, 30 pounds on that kid.
How big is he now?
He's about I don't know what they got him listed at. He's at 97, right? They've got him listed at
Yes.
6'3", 220. He'll be a Miles, or about 6'3", and won't be that tall, but 6'3", 250. That'd be a force. He's got a motor. He got a motor, and you can't create a motor.
No gain on that run as we approach 2:30 to go in this ball game. We'll start doing our thank yous and all for all of this to Natasha Wilson, the AD in name here. She's got a different title than that, but that's really what we see her as. Another stack up, no loss there, or no gain there. Rachel Moore, the SID here at Central Methodist. Crew that helps us out with all the game activities, with the camera people and all of that. 3rd and 10. Instrumental in a lot of this success is President Roger Drake. Outside to Finley, going to try and turn the corner. Gets to the corner, but not going to pick up the 1st down. Brandon Molinari with the stop. It's 4th down. 1:35 to go in the ball game. It's 4th down and 3. Levi Taylor. Tries to get jump and does. Got a free play and going to air it out. And almost running that down, but it would not have mattered if it had been intercepted. The intended receiver was number 11, Mikhail Bonham. Offside against the Eagles. Mark it off. It'll be a 1st down with 1:08 to go. Both sides with 3 timeouts. Don't know that either side is interested in stopping the clock by that reason. As it starts to get darker here at Davis Field. goes much longer, we may have to get the lights on.
I don't think they'll turn on the lights today.
I don't think they will either. They'll just keep the clock running. 1 minute left in this. No gain on the play. Again, thanks to Nick Thomas, producer. One of the bright young students at the University of Central Missouri in Warrensburg, studying digital media production. Ball is fumbled, picked up, and going the other direction. Might as well. Why not? We've had
Scoop
a little
and
bit of
score.
everything else.
Scoop and score by the Eagles. Only thing we're lacking is a pick six, Charlie.
Trying to say who that is that did that. Is that Henley?
I think it might be, Charlie.
Well, now we have a new player for Defensive Player of the Week in the Heart. Yeah, that's Cory Henley. 2 touchdowns, a scoop, and a score.
Wow.
44-2.
Do we have a pick six, too?
We have not had a pick six.
Okay.
He's intercepted twice. Once he ran it back deep into territory. The other time was down close to the goal line. Can't get the right people on the field.
Happens when you have substitutions a lot.
Yeah, 29 seconds left in this, and they need more people. See if we can get who's out there. Nathaniel Marshall from California trots out to anchor the line. 3-2, and there looks like either going to take a timeout or they will take a penalty, and there goes the flag for delay of game. Henley might just get to keep that turnover chain. He's had it 3 times today now.
I think he might get her this time.
John Tyler Polk had it for a little while.
Not very long, Charlie.
Not very long. He went and got it and turned it over. Now the extra point is on the way. And it is good, and that makes it 44-2. Looking down at De Laurent on the sidelines, enjoying life. And he's down there high-fiving a defensive player. Gotta like that when your quarterback is down high-fiving defensive players.
You betcha. That's called a team player. That's why he got to come out today to do the flip, I'm sure. That's the kind of guy you want. That's what I just like this kid.
Well, cannot argue with his results.
Got his long hair hanging out there just a little flamboyant like most quarterbacks.
Yeah, pretty much. He's got a 12 on, and long before his time, but that's a Joe Willie Namath type of thing, and he was the first one to kind of make his own personal impression upon people with style.
Was he a little different than Johnny Unitas with a crew cut?
Yeah, he did not have a crew cut and high-top black shoes. No, he did not.
Heck of a quarterback, though.
Yeah, Johnny Unitas was not Broadway Joe. And there's the kickoff with 29 seconds left. And tackled out around after the 30-yard line. St. Louis with that. We've got time for, if it's a running play, it might be the last play of the ball game. As the coaching staff from upstairs starts to work its way down. And Taylor back out. I want to thank Jim Ray Cluck for putting up with me for another year of Eagle football.
Charlie, definitely my pleasure, and I want to thank you for allowing me.
No problem. Taylor's got some room. I might be talking too early. He's going to get out of bounds, and there'll be 15 yards tacked onto that. No, there won't be.
Just trying to get her done, Charlie.
15 seconds left as he goes out of bounds, spins the ball. Coaching staff says, hey, what about that?
Be worried about the hit out of bounds before I would that spinning the ball.
Yeah, I would be too, and I'd be leery that the scoreboard says 45-2 right now, which I'm sure that's what, we're going to get a Gatorade douse somewhere. They're running down. They're after, and he's got it spotted now. Do you stop that? You stop. Inside the 10, inside the 5, with 4 seconds to go.
Defense, I would call it a pitching you shut out where they scored on the safety. I would. for my defensive team. I know they may be, you can't say pitch a shutout because it's 2 points.
But it wasn't a score on the defense.
No.
4.3, maybe the last play of the game, barring a penalty on the defense. Taylor going to try and keep the ball and go somewhere, and all he does is run the clock out. And that'll be the ball game. 45-2 is your final score. Eagles win. They'll get everybody separated and make sure that there's no extracurriculars. Got players out on the field. Katavius Taylor out at midfield with one of the players that he must know from somewhere. Where is Katavius Taylor from? He is from Memphis, Tennessee.
Down there where they got real good barbecue, too.
Oh, boy. You are not just kidding there.
A little different sauce there.
45-2 is your final score. Eagles 5-4 on the season, 3-2 in their division. They'll finish with a winning record in the home starting debut of Paxton De Laurent.
That'd be the first time underneath the leadership of Coach Callaway. They were 5-5-1 last year. This year 5-4. So again, he's turned a corner.
So that will do it from Fayette. Ball game is over. Eagles win 45-2. We saw a little bit of everything. 3 safeties in the ball game, 2 by the Eagles defense. And we saw a scoop and score fumble. We saw a little bit of everything. So the Eagles will celebrate. Everybody will be happy. And we'll leave Fayette on that high note. That does it for Eagle football for this year. Again, check back with us. We've got Eagle basketball supposedly on Monday, but probably won't happen. And then the 24th, conference schedule kicks off when Clark comes to town. For Nick Thomas, Jim Ray Cluck, it's been our pleasure to have brought you ball games this year, even in this shortened season with everything going on with COVID. It has still been our pleasure. We want to thank Central Methodist and their staff for making it always enjoyable and pleasurable for us to show up, and their cooperation is greatly appreciated. So that will do it. Eagle football for the year. 5-4 on the season after the first 2 games were canceled because of the pandemic. 45-2 is the final here, so we'll say good evening from Davis Field in Fayette. And you can catch us on basketball action coming up soon. But the Eagles finish out the season on a high note. Have a great evening.